261.
That's Julie.
Watch the don't
Julie or
promote
Mike.
thing.
Yeah.
About this trip.
I am recording.
Okay, Julie, and then we've got someone in the waiting room, 330717.
Well, let's do we'll open up and do a roll call. Well, you just did everybody on there. I'll start from the left.
Oh, the Net Lots, Toledo.
Lindsay McKinney, training manager.
Christy Dow, PE program manager. Sally Nunes, PE area manager.
Brian Honan, Division of Legal Services.
Orville just left the room, but he's here.
Okay, and then Yvette Shackelford, Zanesville rep. I think, Christy, you just named everybody. Anybody else new join?
Who's the
Mark
330?
Messick is going.
Mark, okay, Mark.
Mark Messick.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to start with the minutes. We need to approve the minutes from our revisions from the minutes from our February 13th meeting.
Yeah.
Anybody have any objections to approving the February 13th special meeting minutes? Hearing no objections, they are approved as presented. We need to approve the minutes from our February 27th meeting. Special meeting, thank you. Hearing no objections to approving the minutes for our February 27th meeting, they're approved as presented.
Madam Chair.
Without objection, I mean, I'm sorry.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Just Keith Trammell was trying to get into. Somebody send him the information. He can't find it.
Yeah, I'll send it.
Okay. Thank you.
I should say it without objection. I'm sorry, guys. Any public comment? Anybody here? Any of the reps or anybody got any public comment? I guess. Well, I'll wait to Keith gets on, I guess. Just the night. Just in it. Where
Lindsay just emailed it to you.
Okay, I didn't hear anybody have anything but public comment, so we're getting to the rules. We're still going over Rule 3 and going to, I think we're at the part where it talks about sites and attachments.
No, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still have upward mobility. We were still under the scoring criteria.
Oh, okay.
I have it that we stopped at 9. We went ahead and kept the veterans thing.
Okay,
And then,
hold on, give me a second to find that.
Something 9. On the scoring criteria. G9.
G? Okay.
Yeah.
Under 3.
Yes, Rule 3, yes.
And you said G?
Yes.
Okay. You can go ahead.
Okay, number 9 is where we stopped. And then applicant has supplied the selection panel documentation demonstrating attendance of an upward mobility training in the 24 months prior to the application deadline at 1 point for each with a maximum of 4 points.
I thought we did.
I don't believe we did upward mobility, did we?
No.
Guys?
Oh, we didn't. Okay,
We stopped it. We stopped at the veteran.
And my notes, Madam Chair.
Yes.
A couple things. I just wrote, this is problematic. I don't know why I wrote that. This is problematic. And I'm not quite sure why, but
At least you're honest.
yeah, demonstrating attendance at a up or and I don't
Madam
know.
Chair.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe, because I know Christie has shared with me in the past, what constitutes an upward mobility. So that may be where your problematicness comes. But I don't know if this is the proper place to deal with that.
Application
Hey,
deadline.
Frank,
Yeah, somebody's.
you have some major audio feedback happening.
Okay.
I don't want to mute you.
I don't know. I have no idea what the heck's going on. I haven't,
It sounds like maybe are you maybe touching it with your thumb or something?
no,
No.
It
I'm just
stopped.
holding.
Yeah, it stopped now. I don't know what it was.
So
Why do we have a problem with that?
I don't know. I guess my question is to Sally and Orville, who are more involved in the scoring. Is this an issue or no?
He's here.
No, I got it.
You got it? Okay.
And upward. I don't like at and upward. At and upward.
That's correct.
It is.
Yeah, that's the. And
So it has to be within the 24 months.
yeah, which I like.
Yeah, me too.
I
don't
think
have a
that's
problem with
fair.
that.
Okay. I guess this is fine then.
I mean, most
Madam
people-
Chair,
Yes, who's speaking?
this is Dwayne.
Dwayne, go
Yeah.
ahead, Dwayne.
So, yeah, I had a couple of things here under this Rule 9, and I know that we're getting 1 point for each upward mobility, but I guess from what I've seen that all the upward mobilities are not necessarily what I consider created equal. I mean, watching a 45-minute video where you write down your takeaways and, I guess maybe a week later you're forgetting everything that you've already watched on that is not equal to, say, like someone doing a full semester college course. And so for each one of those, I mean, you're still giving 1 point, but it's not equal in the effort, and it's not equal in the expense and the time that a person has to put in something like that, or even like something like, say, like going to a national convention, like a blast or something like that. The expense and the time put into something like that is a whole lot more than watching a 45-minute video. And that's kind of where I see maybe a little bit of a problem in this. But I know that if you start giving more points for, say, like, a college course, I mean, that would be, maybe worth 4 or 5 points. Then, with only a maximum of 4 points, then it kind of creates a little bit of a problem. Now, I don't want to, bring into this more than what I really need to, because I think that people are still going to max out whatever is allotted there, whether it's 4 points or 6 points, or I know in a previous version of the rules it was 3 points, and people will max that out. But I would like to see the effort put into a upward mobility kind of reflected in the points that are awarded for it.
Well, Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, one thing, he's absolutely right. That wouldn't impact this rule, the way it's written. But there should possibly be a definition for upward mobility or a policy to determine what an upward mobility is and how many points are allotted. We've struggled with this for some time. But as far as this Rule 3 is written, that's I think the rule right now is fine. But I do think we need to define how you get those points somewhere else in the rules, or a policy of some sort.
Well, SCORE puts years ago, you used to have all of that where you got, and I think that college credits and all that, but SCORE puts on some here in Columbus. They have things that you can go to. I've been to different business seminars or different things that they have here in Columbus that, how to, different things about, tracking your inventory, all that. They have that stuff live. You can actually go to. I think we loosened this up during the pandemic. If am I correct in that?
We did kinda, but it's always been an issue, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Because we've always had people that would, like somebody said, watch a 15-minute YouTube video and get an upward mobility.
Yeah. And we used to have to write something on it. I think it'll be difficult to, but we should have something where more specific to business or whatever, to making sure that it's appropriate for. I'm trying to think of how we can
Madam Chair.
fix that. Yes, sir.
I agree with Annette. I think that the rule as written is fine.
Mm-hmm.
We do need, it doesn't take away from the fact that we need to strengthen upward mobility
Yeah.
and look at the credit. Like, if you're gonna do something less
Madam
than
Chair?
online, then it should be a full point,
Oh,
period.
Yeah.
I think that was John.
Go ahead, Johnny. Man.
I want to consider like the newer people. Now, I actually tell my trainees to go online and watch those videos to get those points. Should a new person have to take 2 years to get four upward mobility credits?
No.
I mean, they get one. They can only get one for coming into a meeting. But I mean, how long? If you spread these out or discontinue these videos and stuff, it's going to take a long time to get your initial credits.
No, I don't think that's
No,
anyone's
that's
intention.
no, and I agree with you. And I actually, I encourage people to go on to, not just to get points, but you can learn a lot from those webinar. I mean, those, videos.
Madam Chair.
Yes. Kristen?
Talking to other states, they heavily use actually YouTube videos.
Mhm.
They were
Yeah.
saying that. I just don't think that one half an hour video should be equal to one full point as what Dwayne
Well, maybe-
was saying. So we need to look at the points and how, maybe if you do 4 half an hour videos for a point. But that I think could be part of the work group on training and a policy outside of the rules. And I think that we absolutely are all on the same page with that.
Yeah, and I think towards it sets it though. But we're fine. So I think this is fine. We just have to figure out, like you said, policy, procedure, what constitutes. Go ahead, Annette.
Applicant attends at least one entire statewide conference in the last 24 months. Add 2 points.
Now, I don't have a problem with this either.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Sally?
I think we need to put in here, I know we decided that you had to have your license to get the points.
Yes.
But I think maybe we need to specify that here in the rule.
Oh, I agree 100%.
Let me say, okay, applicant attends at least one. Maybe licensed applicant attends at least one entire statewide conference.
Yes.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
it should say
John?
applicant must be licensed at time of statewide.
Yeah, that's what we wanted. Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
we
You
want that.
can't apply if you're not an applicant.
Yeah, so, must be a licensed, operator at the time of statewide
Yes.
to receive 1 point.
Applicant attends at least one entire statewide conference
Yeah.
And
after
be
license.
licensed during the conference.
Yeah, after licensure or something like that in the last 24.
So the way, applicant must be licensed at the time of statewide. It receives 1 point. Or-
Yeah, we could just maybe, after it
That is
says,
right.
months add 2 points, we could just put a sentence
I mean,
there.
I meant 2 points.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
meant
just so the sentence, applicant must be licensed at the time of the
Statewide.
statewide conference.
Yep.
to receive 2 points.
I think that'll
Yep.
do it.
Now, Madam Chair,
Yes,
here's my question.
yes.
Could they get 1 point if they're in training?
No.
No.
That is
Just
going,
asking.
yes, that's complicated. I don't think we should do that.
No,
I think that's just,
yes.
yeah, that just throws a bunch of complications that we don't want.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to get into stuff like the ties and stuff, but
Okay.
is there anything, I think before we do that, any other criteria that we want to consider for scoring?
Madam Chair,
Yes, John?
I would like to propose that we consider your net proceeds. My proposal is we divide it into 2 columns, one for all vending, one for open food and micro markets. Because the way it would work, if you have all vending, under 20% net income out of it, we can even go one of your last 2 years of your big book numbers, so that we can get away with, oh, I bought a vehicle this year, so that year don't count. That's fine. So we go to the previous year or whatever. But if you're under 20% net income, you lose 1 point when you bid. This is all vending, just vending machines. If you're between 20 and 30%, you get 0 points. If you're doing 30 to 45% net income, you get 1 point. And if you're doing over 45%, that's really good, and you get 2 points. For people running open counters or micro markets, they would get under 10, they'd have 10% less numbers on everything. Under 10%, they would lose a point. 10 to 20%, they wouldn't get anything. 20 to 35, they would get 1 point. And above 35% with open food or micro market, you would get 2 points. Because right now we have nothing that rewards anybody for doing a good job or for putting a lot of effort into it. Now you may get that way. Some operators on the highway charge $4 for a candy bar and $5 for a bottle of Monster, and they have great percentages. But they're getting their numbers. They're doing it. You know, I personally don't want to do that at the post office. That'll really make them upset. But, you know, it is what it is, you know. So, but that's my proposal.
This is the problem I have with that. Our locations are so diverse. Some people got a crap load of site attachments. Some people don't. They may be all vending, but
Madam Chair?
I think our locations are just too diverse.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
We would only consider your permanent location. Site attachments would not come into it. Also, I don't, when we're talking all vending, whether it's a highway, a college, a post office, a federal building, it's still all, we're not paying rents. None of they're pretty much the same location. Just a matter of how you got to buy your inventory. We're all around the same prices. They're not that much different, truly.
Yeah.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I have within my facility, I have a wide array of prices. I get $2.50 for a bottle of pop at the post office. I get $3 at the rest area.
Yes.
It just, I get $2.50 for candy bars at the rest area, $1.75 at the post office. Things vary greatly based on the type of facility. If I tried to charge rest area prices at the post office, they shoved me in a mailbox.
Yeah.
So
and even after state offices, you got.
Yeah, then you got state offices. This building here's in the middle somewhere. It varies depending on your clientele.
And you said site attachments won't count, but if you have site attachments, the numbers are combined. Your sales is
Not in the big book. They're not.
Yeah, they are.
Madam Chair,
The big book, every stand is broken out.
No, it's not.
It's the temps that I think you're
You're
talking
talking
about.
about temps, not site attachments that's a part of your existing facility.
Oh, I'm talking about temps. Sorry.
Yeah, we know. Madam Chair, I do appreciate what John's saying, though, because I do think that we don't award good operators.
You're right.
We don't. And we don't necessarily want to make it punitive. Other states have it different ways. People are on PIPs if they don't do well, percentage, like Michigan. If you don't do a certain percentage on a rest area, you're on a PIP. But I would like to incentivize, like, there are operators here that do excellent jobs, but now we're getting into the tiebreakers where, okay, if you do the bare minimum of getting your upward mobility and this and this and this, it basically comes down to seniority. It does. And so if we've got, and that, there's nothing to award great operators, and that's what's sad.
Well, part of the issue is too, is operators, we have the opportunity, the operators are not doing a good job. And we again, hinging things on seniority. The problem is you have the tools, it's just have not been implemented to make sure that those ones who are not are being penalized. So then if they do have seniority, they go bid on something because they have not been put on a PIP or made to perform. Because like we just talked about, we'll take away points if you've been put on a PIP.
But then we need the support too, because not everyone's big on putting people on PIPs, and it's a lot of work too. And then, like, there's situations where we put people on PIPs and they're like, oh, the committee's like, oh, they satisfied it or barely, and yeah, that'll take away a point here or there.
But
I wish we could incentivize good operators.
I think that if we use the tools, and like you said, the support, because some things have went on way too long with some operators, so maybe we should have some type of, I would say, if you have so many complaints and it's been going on, because the thing of it is, some of this stuff been going on for years in some facilities.
And Madam Chair, I don't even think it should be complaints. It should be even site visits and all of that. Because, we just had someone who resigned, which was beneficial for everyone involved. But I think that those customers just got used to bad customer service.
And I agree 100%.
So I can't even highly,
it makes the whole program look bad.
It does.
And that's why we need to probably come up with something where we do something about that. It makes the whole program look bad. So I have to 100% agree.
Madam Chair?
Yes,
I'd love there to find a way to incentivize. John, I like your go-getterness. I'm not sure I like that system, but I think that we could come up with some kind of system to incentivize folks. I'm not.
And it's fairly implemented.
Yes, and that's my problem with the what we were talking about with the PIPs and the site visits and stuff. I don't know that those are fairly undertaken, and I think that's where some of the problems have come in the past too. I've been one not to support some PIPs because I didn't think they were being fairly.
Right. It depends on who it is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I agree.
And all of a sudden, an operator's getting picked on, and they start feeling.
And I don't want to see.
I don't want to see that at all. I don't want to see an operator being frightened every time the bureau shows up because they're there taking pictures of their vending machines.
Yes, and it's a
and counting empties and all this and that.
Because you're going to have some empties somewhere.
Yeah, you are.
I would like to focus on incentivizing.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. I think this is good to come up with a way to incentivize.
Yeah.
I want our folks to do good jobs, but I don't want them to be so stressed out about having empties.
Right.
Because it's not necessarily the empties per se, it's how long they stay that way sometimes too, So
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Christine, then I'll get you, Wayne.
Again, we're under the gun on these rules. So maybe what we do is we don't make wholesale changes, but maybe there's a work group or there's a group to improve on specifically Rule 3 for the next one. Because you can't do this all in a quick time frame.
Yeah.
But now that we know that this, even if we improve this a little bit, we know that there's still room for improvement. And let's say like in a year or 2 years, hey, we do want to change Rule 3. We can always go to legal and ask that this rule specifically be opened up if everyone's in agreement. But this, I think, could be teased out.
Yeah.
And, other states, I think we should look at them.
Yes.
Some other states, I'd rather have it be more objective than subjective, but sometimes subjectivity does come into play. But I do think we need to find some method to award those who do a
I
good job.
Yes, I do. Dwayne, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just in regard to, the proposal that John had, I do know, like in a previous version, like the 2016 version of our rules, there was a provision in there for points if you met your gross profit goals and I think there was another one there for the net profit goals. And maybe in some regards, that might be a little bit easier to, I guess, enforce or whatever, award points to it because it would be more specific to an individual. I do know that the way that goals were set up in the past, it was pretty lame because it's, almost anybody could meet those goals in the past. So it kind of became almost a meaningless rule that we had. But I think if you could restructure it somehow to that, like if you're running a micro market, it's going to be a whole lot different of a goal than if you're running a rest area type of thing. So just an idea.
Yeah.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Della.
One thing I'm thinking is because we've already got this heavy piece of seniority at the beginning of when you've been under a VOA or TVOA, maybe the tiebreaker becomes net profit or something.
Mm-mm.
No. Actually, I don't know. I don't.
Madam Chair, once again, because of the diversity of our
Location. That's what I'm
locations,
thinking.
yeah, someone that needs a vehicle versus not needing a vehicle, someone who has on-site storage as opposed to having to purchase off-site storage. I mean, there's
It's too much.
so many different factors that
Madam Chair.
back in the day, we had cookie cutter facilities. If someone had a rest area, they had a rest area.
Yeah.
If someone had a cafeteria, it was a cafeteria. It's not like that anymore.
And some people are just, it is. And some people have a lot of, side attacks and some people have none.
Right.
John, go ahead.
The whole point is, looking at the big book, okay? We got the University of Kent. We got one location at University of Cincinnati. Between the two of them, they did $1,087,000 worth of sales. They both ran at 16% net. These are people been in the program 20 years. They never run more than 20% net.
Hey,
And
John.
and I have $400,000 worth of sales at the Cleveland Post Office. I paid more service charge than both of these guys put together. What is my incentive not to just up all my expenses and payroll? And if they're doing it for 20 years, why shouldn't I? I'm not getting rewarded for doing a good job. All I'm doing is paying twice as much service charge as these guys, doing way more sales than I have.
We don't want to use these rules to go after other.
I'm not going after anybody. I'm rewarding people for doing a good job.
Yeah, well, we're going to work on trying to find a way to reward people that do a good job, but I think that we don't want to turn this into, I can imagine.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
the only other thing, and I don't know that I like it, but I'm going to brainstorm something. That could be considered would be gross. That would be something that could be thought of, what a gross percentage instead of that way you're taking at least all the storage and vehicles and employees and all that off the table.
You talking about your gross sales?
Not gross sales, gross percentage.
Gross percentages.
Yes.
Madam Chair.
I don't know that that's good or not. I got to give it a little
Yes,
thought,
John.
but it's something
Yeah.
I'm throwing out there.
Yes,
So
John.
we have people that charge $800 for their cell phone, have done it every month they've been here.
Take away.
So it doesn't trigger the 35% variance. So that just continues. We have people paying family members $3,000 a week. And since we don't consider that in the net, that just I bought my wife and daughter to $1,000 a week because I talked to other operators. That's what they're paying. I mean, if nothing changes, why shouldn't I pay them $3,000 a week? You got to consider the net. The net is where a lot of this stuff's being hidden or being taken advantage of. Gross is just your cost of goods. Everybody's, unless you have stealing, then everybody's gross is pretty much real close to the same.
I think we need to look at this. We need time to look at it carefully so we can make I don't think we're going to be able to figure that out. You have some good points. You have a good point.
And Jen, I'd love to come up with something. I just,
Yeah.
And the goals is an option, but we, like the upper mobility, we need to be tight on how we set those goals.
Yeah.
We don't want, however many consultants we have. No, we did it horribly. One consultant would do it a whole, one consultant saw it as a goal, something to strive for, so they would put it high. And another one would say, well, let's put it low so you can get good points in a selection. Intentionally. I mean, we had people all over the place setting goals for operators, and it wasn't fair.
And also how the goals were, you were being compared to other
operators.
Way different than what you're.
Absolutely. It wasn't fair. It wasn't done fairly.
We hear you, John. We do need to work on that, and we do need to, I think everybody's in agreement that we need to reward people to do a good job, that does a good job. But we just got to figure out what's the fair way of doing it. Yes, who's trying to speak?
This is Dean, okay?
Dean, go ahead.
Okay. I just have to bring up that I'm right there with John of the fact some years in the past we had an operator whose net profit percentage was only at 5%, and the sales kept growing and growing and growing for that person because of attachments that was added to them. Still stayed 5%. And that was not right. That is something that should have been changed. And so I'm right there with you, John.
Okay.
That's it.
Anybody else on this? We do need to look at it, John, and we will. We all got to think about what's the better way of
Madam Chair.
Yes,
Madam Chair. That we move on, but put a pin there. Maybe if we come up with something by the time we submit these rules and have a good discussion, we can change it. If not, then we'll have to do like Christy said and maybe look at going forward as is and then, changing it up the road a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think we're all in agreement. Something needs done.
Something needs to be done.
Madam Chair.
Frank.
Frank, go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to point out, when it comes to wages, the days of paying people $10 or something like that an hour, those are over with. People aren't going to work for that nowadays. They want paid better, and for people who do have to have employees, they probably have to be competitive with the job market and pay what other people are paying. I mean, I don't know that they're there yet, except for maybe in California, but we have people at McDonald's wanting, $15 or $22 an hour, which, is quite expensive. But the only point I'm making there is when it comes to payroll, you can't pay minimum wage or anything like we used to be able to do, because people just, they won't take the job. They want more money. That's it. That's all.
And we shouldn't assume that we know the reasons why everything, but I do think we need to look at this and see if, what we can do to, if it's rewarding good work, we need to figure out how we can do that and make sure it's fair for everybody.
Madam Chair?
Dwayne?
I think it's Dean.
Dean, go ahead.
No, this is Mark.
Oh, Mark. I'm sorry, Mark. If
I've been
everybody
listening
just
in.
say their name when they speak, then I won't be getting your name wrong. I apologize. Go ahead.
Okay. This is Mark Messick. All right. Well, what John has been saying has a lot of merit. And the reason for that is, if anyone gets a chance, there's a book out there by the old CEO of GE, Jack Welch. The book's called Straight from the Gut. If I remember correctly, it's like chapter 9 through 13. and it talks about rewarding people and running business and everything that's being discussed right now. And I noticed when I joined in 2019 that nobody ever gets rewarded. I don't see it. I don't understand it. And you do have people out there operating businesses that I feel are taking advantage of the system. And pretty much all I have to say is listen to John. He makes a lot of sense. This may not be the role to make the change, but we do need to take a look at numbers that people are performing, and we need to reward those people.
Yes. He is.
Okay, we're all in agreement. If we can, if you're all in agreement, we can table this and come back to it, because I don't think we're gonna figure out a fair way at this moment to do that. And we'll come back to this. Because we all got to put our heads together and figure out how we can do it. And John had a lot of good points. So, I think we're going to just, go figure that out. I'll go around what he said and figure out how we can do it and make it fair. I'm thinking about it myself. But Annette, you want to?
All right.
Madam Chair?
Go ahead, Dwayne.
Yeah, I guess before we go on here, I'd like to introduce another thing that I've been thinking about
Okay.
under these selection points, and this probably is going to introduce the elephant in the room, I suppose. But under Rule 6, Paragraph D, it states that an operator shall have only one BOA in place at a time in Ohio. On entering into a new BOA under Paragraph A of this rule, which would be Rule 6, an existing BOA shall terminate. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is this seems like this applies real well for operators that are in Ohio, but I do know over recent years we've been having operators from out of state applying to facilities within the state that to me is like almost exploiting a weakness in the system.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess I think it does put at disadvantage, some of the people in Ohio, because I mean, Ohio, you can't double dip on a BOA unless you're going to do a site attachment or something like that. But every time you apply for a new facility, your old one is terminated. Now, I guess I look at this as somewhat of a problem, because I do know, like, with when you're dealing with other states, things like, Medicaid or SNAP benefits, unemployment benefits, tuition assistance, housing assistance, utility assistance, you can only apply for them in one state. Now, I think it would be fair if we would put in a rule, and I've got a proposed scoring here that I would like to put in if an applicant is a resident of the state of Ohio at the time of the application deadline. And this would be as defined by your state ID, would tell you what state they lived in. Add 4 points for people that live within the state of Ohio. And the reason that I would say this is I'm not necessarily saying that people from other states can't apply into our system, but I don't see why they should get an advantage over someone that is in Ohio.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying this is I know that sometimes applicants are sitting there and they've applied for a facility. They don't have a facility. They're trainees or new licensees, and they don't get an advantage over maybe someone that is from out of state that already has a job. And I see that as a problem. Now, I know this may be more of a question for for Brian. I don't know if what I'm proposing is going to get into a legal nightmare on the way that I'm proposing it. I'd kind of like to maybe yield to him and just see, what his opinions are on something like this.
I'm not
Can
sure.
advise on that.
Yeah, I'm not, Madam Chair, I'm not sure what RSA would say. RSA has been very clear that you can have multiple, you can run multiple facilities in multiple states. So I don't know. I don't know.
But
Chair?
Madam Chair, yeah, I guess I'm not saying that they couldn't apply for these positions, but I don't think that someone from out of state should get an advantage over someone that is in state, and especially someone in state that has no job.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
Dwayne, my question to you is this. You've got the situation where you might have a person that has a job out of state that's coming into Ohio, but we've got people that have been established and got their first facility in Ohio, has since gone out of state. So would you treat them the same way?
Well,
Madam Chair?
yeah, that gets to be a little bit messy because.
1 second, Frank, because Annette's going to be next after.
Yeah, I guess you're trying to remedy things that have already happened, which I think is a little bit harder to do. But I think, going forward, that there should be an advantage for someone that is from Ohio because, I mean, as you all know, I mean, we're under the Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities. And I'm not against anyone from Florida or Texas or Tennessee or anywhere else coming in applying for a job. I don't want to necessarily put that roadblock there where they couldn't come in, because I do think there would maybe be some legal problems with RSA or whatever that they would flat out reject that. But I do see that if you do live in Ohio, you should be able to get a benefit from living in Ohio.
Go ahead, Annette.
Well, I was going to say, yes, we just put a straight thing on here. You can't run something if you're running another. You're ineligible to run something. RSA would never let that go through. The interesting part with something like this is it's part of the selection.
Mm-hmm.
It's not part of anything else. So we're trying to determine who the, quote, best person for the job is. And I think an argument can be made if somebody's running other facilities outside of Ohio that they're probably not going to be able to focus as much on the facility in Ohio as somebody else would. So I think an argument could be made that it would do something like that. But I don't know. Dwayne's methodology, I think, that's where I would, with the ID thing, maybe it's as simple as if you are under an agreement with a permanent agreement with I wouldn't necessarily like looking at attempts or something, but if you are under a permanent agreement to run a facility in another state, you lose a point.
Well,
Madam Chair.
Well, I'm sure. What about if your primary residence is in Ohio? You gain a point.
well, this is.
Well, that's
Then how do you prove that?
I was going to say that's the problem.
In order to get into this program, and I'm speaking out of turn, but in order to get into the program, you have to be a resident of Ohio, right?
No.
You have to have a presence. You have to have a presence to get VR services. You have to have a presence.
Okay, so somewhere that I think it was Frank next.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I was just gonna remind everybody that back in, and Annette can correct me if I'm wrong, I want to say 2016 or 2017, somewhere in there, I don't even know, or maybe 2020, I don't remember which year, but we did when Annette came in, probably when I came in, you did have to be a resident of Ohio in order to be in this program.
When did that change?
Madam Chair.
It changed when we tried to submit a rules package. We tried to put that back in the rules, and RSA just flat out rejected it. They came back and said, no, you can't, that cannot go in the rule. Now, whether it would apply with a selection for a part of the selection criteria or not, off the top of my head, I don't think so. But I mean, we could try it and see what RSA says about it, but we all need to be prepared in case they say no. But I don't know what everybody's thoughts are on that, but that's it.
Yeah,
John.
and someone else
It
trying to
was
speak.
John.
John,
And then Sally.
okay. Go ahead. Who's that trying to speak?
Was it me?
John.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
John.
Number one, Frank, that's not true. When we got into training and we were roommates, I came directly from California. I didn't have a Ohio address. When I decided to get back in the BE program, my wife and I looked at a map and we picked Ohio because I had family in PA, she had family in Michigan. Close enough to visit, but they don't just show up. And I called VR services and told them I want to get into the Ohio program. And they gave me a date. I showed up, met a guy, got in, and they asked me, where are you going to live in Ohio? I said, wherever my stand is. And my first stand was Stark County, Akron, Canton, plus the talk of Elkton Prison when I was in training. So I bought my house in Uniontown. But I absolutely had no presence in Ohio whatsoever before coming to the program.
Yeah, because I thought when I came into the program years ago, you had to be a resident. Well, that's been many, many years ago. Many rule packages that, Sally, go ahead.
Madam Chair, the other thing is, no one is under obligation to tell us they have a facility in another state. I know there are no secrets in BE, so it'd probably get around eventually, but at the time of a selection, we have no way of proving.
Madam Chair, that's easy enough to fix. You put a question on the application.
I think.
I mean, and they're supposed to be truthful. If you found out they're not truthful, then it's.
Well, not by omission, not just telling you, not being truthful.
Yeah, but no, if they leave it blank, then they don't have a complete application. You can put a question on there. Do you currently run and operate a facility in any state other than Ohio?
Yeah, but if they know they're going to lose a point, what would be the incentive?
Well, they got to answer the question or their application's not complete. And if they lie, and we find out they lie, then that's fraud.
I don't know.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Frank, I don't know if I'm agreeing.
this is a question for BEP management, and that is, are they able to look and see if someone is running facilities in another state? Do they have access to that information, I guess is my question, so that we would actually, there would be documentation so we wouldn't be going off of rumor or, innuendo or something like that. We would actually need, especially for a selection, I believe we would not need to have some sort of documentation to be able to say, yes, this person is under a bureau operator agreement in Florida or in South Carolina or Michigan or Utah or where, you get the point of what, everybody gets the point of what I'm saying. So thank you.
Madam Chair, there's no database or anything. The only thing is, and when we get like potential licensee coming from another state, do they have past program debt in that state? We'll call the state. We'll ask. But I do worry, and I worry that this could be a lot of grievances. If someone gets a facility and then is determined and find out later that they did lie and oh my God.
Well, it kind of makes them want to because but I think that maybe we should be looking at this differently because you don't want somebody coming into the program, even if they are coming from another state. Taking away a point, it's a penalty. There's no other way around it. It's
Madam
a
Chair.
penalty. So maybe, yes, Dwayne?
Yeah, so I guess I've given this a lot of thought over the week, and I think it probably would be better served and maybe able to get past RSA's scrutiny if we awarded people that lived in Ohio as opposed to subtracting points away from someone out of state, because I could see where they could look at that as a, I don't know, maybe a violation of their rights or the law or whatever, but so I think.
But Madam Chair, and I agree with you in theory, Dwayne, but again, I know one or two people that would say that absolutely their primary residence is in Ohio. And then they probably say that their primary residence is in another state as well.
And then how can you?
And how do we prove that?
How do you?
But that would be proven by their ID.
Yeah, they can use a family member's address. How do you know that they don't?
Or they
live
could
there?
own
I mean,
property.
We're gonna turn Christie into the investigator.
No. No.
Well, and Madam Chair,
Yes.
we do have facilities that's right on the border. You know, I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with a Toledo operator living in Michigan. I'll be honest with you, when I lived in Toledo, I was a half a block from the border. The people across the street from me, their backyard was in Michigan. So just because, you know, it honestly, I was as close to my facility as I could be. I mean, you know, it's right downtown. So sometimes when someone might live on the border like that, I don't see, if they're not running another facility in Michigan, that's just where their house happens to sit. And they're running from the downtown Toledo, that there's no problem with that. I'm trying to, I want to figure something out with this, but I want it to be
The
fair.
thing of it is, I know that this doesn't make us feel good that somebody comes from another state feeling, you know, getting these jobs and all that kind of stuff. But it's the world we live in, and you know, I if they can handle it, I think where we should be looking at is if they're doing a good job in what they're managing. If they're doing their job, and I know in the past we've had people trying to run multiple things all over, and they ran their Ohio locations in the ground. So I think that's where we should be, you know, focusing our attention on. If you're going to be here in Ohio and you run something in Ohio, you're going to run it, you know, with, you know, to the best of your ability, and keep that location up and running properly. I think we run into too many problems when we start trying to take points away or do, you know, or
Madam-
even trying to find out where people's primary address is. Go ahead. Who's speaking?
This is the,
Dean?
yeah, can you hear me okay?
Go ahead, Dean.
Okay. And of course, y'all know that situation here in the Akron-Canton area where we had a person that just won a facility in Ohio, in the Akron-Canton area, and he lives in Florida, and he lives in Florida, and he has a facility that he's running all the time in Florida. And the whole thing is everyone has called that his primary facility. And what he just won in Ohio is nothing but a secondary facility, supposedly going to be having his worker run that place. And if all that ends up being true, the whole point is this is going to be interesting to see how this all works out. All the operators up here are saying that if his primary facility is down in Florida and he wants a facility up here in Ohio as a secondary facility, he should lose a point. And that's
But how do we tell them what they consider their primary or secondary? How do we get to judge that? I mean, they can say, no, this is going to be my primary facility. And how do we police that? You can't police that.
if he never comes up to Florida and he constantly lets his person run it all the time and it never comes to Ohio, that to me definitely his primary place is where he's working all the time.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Annette.
I'm going to stick with what I was said earlier, that in a selection, we are wanting to determine who the best person is for the job. And if somebody is running all over God's creation, running multiple facilities, there's no way possible they can give the same attention to it as somebody who isn't. Not saying that necessarily means they do a better job, worse job, this and that, but we know they're spread thin. Because this is for a selection, now it's not perfect. We can put a question on the application, are you currently running something in another state? If they lie, then, you know, just like anything else. I mean, you know, we can have people come up and say, hey, I went to an upward mobility and didn't really go. People can lie about stuff on these applications, and there's a lot of times no real way to confirm it. There is some, it's just like any other application in the world for anything. You put the questionnaire and see what they say. I think some people would be not wanting to lie on that, especially if they knew it could be confirmed. If we suspected it, then, it's a phone call or an email away saying, hey, we have an application here. We've heard rumors that this person's running a facility in your state. Can you confirm it? And that's all it would take.
I think that we're getting into the whole ball of active. RSA said that we're trying to get around RSA. Is that a good idea? RSA says that it's legal, and I just learned that the word to be an Ohio resident is you have to have a presence in Ohio. Then what I think that the deck is stacked against us for trying to put a question on our application and have people have to figure out if they should be true. Because of course, if they're not truthful, then you can take the facility away, or if they're truthful, then they don't get the location. So we're putting people in a bad position to, and I agree. It doesn't feel good that somebody comes in the state and, multiple locations all over the place. But if RSA says we can't do it, and this is what the law says, there's no must, can, it says you have to have a presence.
Madam Chair.
Presence could be a visit once a year.
Madam Chair, I agree with Annette. I think that this is different than eligibility. This is a selection process.
Yeah.
And I also consider too, and I think that we're losing sight of this too, again, if you've got someone that has facilities in 3 states and we've got a bench where people don't even have their first job.
That's why I said it.
That just isn't right, that that they're creating this monopoly, and we've got people that, are pining for their first job. Now I say all of that, but it still scares me with grievances. But I do agree, the more I think about it, that if it's part of the eligibility, like we have more leeway on that. And I don't think RSA would push back on that. Again,
That they would look selection.
the selection process. The selection process.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not just existing operators that person's competing against. They're competing against people on the bench.
Yeah, I agree.
And our job is
They
to
don't make
way
it
Ohio
feel
with,
Yeah, because we want our Ohio residents to have a job.
Yeah.
But I just don't, you saying that you don't think they'll push back on during the selection, because who's
Madam
speaking?
Chair?
Yes, Frank.
My question is though, for even if we would, and I don't know what the language would be, but even if we should say, or if we could say, are you an Ohio resident? Well, if they have an Ohio ID and a mailing address or a PO box or something, it's at least gonna look, or it is good. They are Ohio. They're going to be able to confirm, yes, they're an Ohio resident. But I guess the bigger question would be, when we ask, if the question is asked, do you run facilities in any other states? Then that
Yes.
means the program would have to check into that and find out one way or the other. And then we would have to determine, by rule or by selection criteria, what we would do with that exactly. And
So-
I agree that I want people who are here in Ohio
Yeah.
who went through the training, who did everything they were supposed to do, to have first shot at a facility, especially for new people, so they can get their career started.
I agree. It's just that I just worry that, there'd be some other issues, but I'm 100%. I want Ohioans to work. I'm just trying to figure out how we can do it without, and I did, maybe I lost sight of, we were specifically focusing on selections, but I just wonder if that's going to be a hot button.
I don't know if it's.
We just
Madam
have
Chair,
to
I
see.
don't know if it'll be
If
enough.
RSA don't like it, they'll
Yeah.
push it
They'll
back.
push it back.
But this is a whole other thing that that I'm aware of them ever
So,
ruling on before.
Specifically, we would just word it just like that.
Yeah, if you are running well, it could go either way. If you are running a facility and operating a facility in another state other than Ohio, subtract X points. I guess we can talk about that. Or we can go the positive route. If you are not running a facility in any other state other than Ohio, then add X number of points. Or, the applicant, you know what I mean. I'm not you. The applicant is.
Well, should that be? That would have. That would have to be on the application
Yes.
that they fill out for the
Yes.
facility, the actual bid.
Absolutely. There needs to be a question. If we put it on there needs to be a question on the application.
Yeah, that's only how the selection panel can consider it.
Yes. Are you currently operating a facility any other? And just, check. But so I guess we want to see how many points. Is it one? Or are we going to hit them hard or hit them little, I guess, if they do? Because 1 point, they could still probably be the newbie.
Madam Chair, I would say two.
That's smart.
Yeah, I would say two.
I like two. I will, Madam Chair, I will say the committee will probably get some pushback on that.
I already know. I'm
Yeah.
listening to the text because I've already got some text and.
Yeah, the committee will get some pushback on it.
By itself.
Yep. But it's, that there's always controversy with rules, though, so.
I think that it's hard when you have RSA saying it's okay for this to happen, and then we start penalizing folks. So is this what you all want to do?
Madam Chair, they say it's okay for licensure and to operate, but they never spoke on whether it can be used against somebody in a selection. As far as I'm aware, I won't say they never. As far as I am aware.
How is other states doing this, Christy? When they got folks coming in from other states.
So, Madam Chair, I'm not sure. Again, other states have this like totally different, Tennessee's still doing interviews, the top 6 candidates, there's criteria that way. Other states, it's just totally different. But I do know that RSA has said that it's not a prohibition to run multiple states and multiple things. And again, you have to have a presence for VR services. So,
yeah, I thought you had to be a resident. So I don't know when that changed years ago. You used to have to be a resident of Ohio. So when they changed the word to presence, that complicates things too. That complicates things.
And that's probably why RSA made us change resident in R so we can contradict with the VR part of it.
Right. We'll see.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
And as this is going to continue to be an issue. I mean, because now that we've almost got, not quite, but almost a nationwide training program, a lot of states are going to just let people come in with minimal training. It used to be most states would make you start from scratch. You had to come in and go through the whole 9 yards. Now a lot of states don't make you do that anymore. It's fairly easy to get licensed in some of these other states.
But we're having, which is good.
Which is good.
We've got to learn about what we do here in Ohio.
Yeah.
Like states are doing things different. We want them to know what we do here in Ohio. So it's good that we have to go through training.
Yeah.
Someone tried to speak. Who was that?
I think it was just background.
Okay. If you all wanna put it, stop there, Sally, we got that? Okay.
You going on?
If you all ready to move on, we'll move to the next topic.
Okay. And we did have a change, I think we talked about in this one. In case of a tie in point totals, the selection panel shall award a facility, I shouldn't facility, but shall award a facility to the applicant with the most seniority in accordance with the seniority list managed by BE. BE shall maintain and update the license city list quarterly. If both applicants remain tied after seniority is considered, the selection panel shall draw lots to determine which applicant shall be awarded the facility.
We changed that to licensure.
Yes, but the second one, we got rid of the draw lot.
Yeah.
And we
Changed it to
discussed last time that the after seniority, then it would go to licensure date.
So if both applicants remain tied,
I would say all applicants, not just both.
if all applicants,
Oh, no. If the tied, if those who tied, I guess we can.
applicants remain tied.
I wrote it last time.
Okay, she wrote it.
In case of a tie in point totals, the selection panel shall award a facility to the applicant with the most seniority in accordance with the seniority list managed by BE. If both applicants remain tied after seniority is considered, the selection panel shall award the facility to the applicant with the longest licensure date.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Drawing lots.
Yeah.
Yes. Keith?
We had an incident where we had a tie, and it was after the fact, and it was about distance. Is that taken out?
No, we're not there yet, I don't think.
That's for a site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this is about a selection for
A main facility.
a main facility.
Okay.
We're not there yet, Keith.
Okay, I'll wait.
Okay. I like that wording. Anybody think they have any revisions? I like the way Sally has it worded.
Yep.
Okay, and then go ahead.
If the successful applicant declines to accept the facility, it shall be awarded to the applicant with the next highest point total. Any tie shall be broken as outlined in the above paragraph.
Wait a minute. Shouldn't that be further up?
No, not necessarily. I think it's good there.
Okay.
Yeah, because we've already determined, now we're saying, hey, if somebody turns it down after they've been awarded it.
Oh, okay. I forgot.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the word turned down.
Yeah. If the successful applicant declines to accept the facility, so you
Okay.
win it and you change your mind. Well, that happens way more often. You would think it happens all the time.
Okay.
Someone just, they put their bid in and they win it and then they say, nah, it's not right.
Yeah, I missed.
Okay.
I wasn't following with my computer.
So we're doing
Jay.
the same thing. The next point value gets it, and if they're a tie, I break the tie the same way. Okay. When there is more than one eligible, now we're getting into science.
Now-
Okay, so now,
Go ahead and read it. And then
okay. When there is more than one eligible applicant for a site, the selection panel shall evaluate each eligible applicant and award the site based on a majority vote after considering the net incomes of each facility or site, the distance of the site from a licensee's existing facility, and similarities between the type of operation or product sold and an applicant's existing facility or site. Now, I think we need to start with the whole application, because we broke out sites from the application process. So what we need to write here before we get into how we're going to score and figure out who gets the site, we need to figure out how they're going to get there.
site attachment.
Yes, yeah.
I think we just should put that simply, site attachment.
Well, yeah, but we need to, right now we're jumping right into how do we determine, which we know there's going to be some discussion on this. But earlier in the rule, we said we don't want facilities and sites treated the same way. So we took the word site out of all that application stuff up till this point. Now we're dealing with sites. So we need to start off this section by saying something along the lines, when there is a site opportunity available, meeting shall, after active participation, stuff like that. Put an announcement out there. Yeah, kind of similar to what we did up the front part.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we should use the same wording.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
so I'm thinking we just use the same as A of this rule, and instead of facility, we just say whenever a site becomes available or is proposed to become available, BP shall collaborate with the local OVRC rep and alternate to determine whether a BOA is
So
required.
refer to that.
Yeah,
Same.
Like copy that.
and just put site in place of facility.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yes.
I said I like that.
Yeah. Oh, you like, okay.
Okay, so then we have to have an application process. So we got the determination as to, okay, there's something out there where they're going to collaborate and decide what to do with it. So then how does an operator go about applying for it?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Frank?
I thought we had a couple people working on a new form or a new application for site attachment specific.
I think, go ahead, Frank. Go ahead.
My question was, did that ever materialize, or is that still being worked
Well,
on?
it was sent to me. It's long, drawn out, and I think it's mixed. It's complicated. I don't know if anybody else has seen it. I don't think we need to have a site attachment so complicated. Let's simplify this. Let's put in some criteria, but I don't think it should be like, I feel like what I saw, it looked like you were buying a house. And you're just trying to get a side attachment.
Yeah.
And it was like, are you kidding me?
We don't need
Let's keep it simple. Now, one of the things that, I thought that we should base it on, and it's just my opinion, but so y'all don't jump on me. If you're going to base it on that, then, but first of all, the similarity to product, I think that should be stripped. We all sell pretty much the same stuff.
Yes.
So I don't think that's necessary to be in there. But if we're going to base it on net, one of the ideas I had is if your site is down for just a year or whatever, then we have to go back and choose. And if it's permanently closed, okay, that's a different. But if your site is down temporarily, then I think it's fair to the other applicants to go to the previous year's numbers to use those in order to make it fairer for everybody applying, because it's a temporary thing. If you're going, that's if you're using that. And if you have received a site attachment in the last 12 months, you go to the bottom of the list. That way it gives other people opportunities to get site attachments. And I think you ought to use net or you use distance or something like that. But I think that we should simplify this.
Madam Chair?
Yes and no.
I think, well, we got to figure out the application process first. But if we're getting into the criteria.
Okay.
The criteria.
I think we need to do, I like your idea. If you got one,
yeah,
you're at the bottom of the list. I like that idea. Because it's all, a lot of times the same people now, they're the only ones that apply. Cool beaner wieners. But I think the local selection panel should make the determination based on, and it's kind of vague, but it's there, and maybe we can tighten it up some. The facility that is the better fit for the site. Make it based on, who will bring the most net proceeds from it.
Complicated. Can't hear nobody.
Yeah, me either.
I think we lost Columbus.
I think we did too.
Oh
They'll
boy.
figure it out. They'll figure it out and come back. I hope.
Has anybody else had problems?
We gotta reconnect. One moment, please.
Yeah, has anybody else had problems with the audio kind of being cutting in and
Pop.
out?
Yeah,
A little
Yeah.
digitally. Yeah, I've had some.
Yeah.
It.
Yeah, me too.
Well, and here in
I can just see
Cincinnati,
you ugly fuckers now.
Oh, wait, John.
I was just say
John.
here in Cincinnati about 20 minutes or so ago, we lost all power, and it came back on pretty quick. But
There they are.
Okay, we're back.
Don't worry, I'm fine. Okay. Now, I don't know how to do that. That's where I'm having some trouble, and I don't necessarily, I mean, this is very vague.
And that one of the things that I think when reason why I said that
Johnny Mac, are you on there?
I'm here.
if
Yeah.
you I'm trying to see, because if you're using distance, some people got their facilities all over the place.
They do.
So that's why I said use net. But I think it makes it fair if someone has several locations and their location is down for remodel. You know how we're doing all this. They're doing all. We should go to the prior years.
I agree.
And then I also think that we, if you have one, you go to the bottom of the list to give other people, and I think that should have to be on the application, wherein you have that be one of our questions. Have you had a site attachment in the last 12 months? I don't know how many months you guys want. 12 months, I think, is fair, like right there in the middle. That way, other people, because if you use distance, people have, and that your route.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Mine is all over the place.
All over the place. So it's hard to say. It's hard to use site. I mean, your location as a fair measurement, because some people live closer to the person that gets awarded the site. It could be right down the street from where someone lives, but someone else would get it because their facility is further away.
Yeah, I get that. I'm thinking of my thing would be based on net proceeds that could be created, not that was already earned. We used to do it. The person with the lowest net proceeds got it. Period.
I like that.
It didn't work.
No.
Because we got the same people getting them over and over and over again. Now, your solution for that would be.
Huh?
Oh no.
They out again.
Oh no.
Yeah,
This
that
is
would be
exactly
back
what I said about
to,
virtual
that'd be back
meetings.
to John's theory. Yep. You keep your net down.
Yeah, that
you
might
always
be
get
my
the
problem
attachment.
is.
We lost. We dropped again. Give us a couple of minutes. We're just gonna do it on the laptop.
Get it together, Orville.
Okay.
Right, that pool you're behind. It's got your
My
signal
exact
blocked.
point of doing virtual meetings.
I see Lindsay.
I see somebody in the lower corner down there.
That's Lindsay.
Oh, okay.
Or are you talking about the red area?
Now down at the bottom, I think that's Lindsay.
It's because I have this stupid thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Go down here.
Boom, boom.
Okay.
Okay. I will. Where should I put them? Let me do.
I don't think they're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
They're
got
just
them
not
in
back
there.
on that main thing. They're on the laptop. And again, if we have votes later, but everyone can see there and I guess put them in front of Madam Chair. But, I think it's because of the windstorm right now. They're talking 50-mile-an-hour winds.
So I'm gonna have you face Annette or Yvette, sorry.
Let them look at the vice chair.
Put it on Orville.
There we go.
Hey.
The only thing is
All right.
With your permission.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we have, and my facility is probably a pretty good example. So Chris Johnson, I wish he was here. I'd like to throw his in there too. Him and I have probably two of the most convoluted facilities out there, because we've done side attachments, and you know, I should not have gotten my first side attachment, but I was the only one to bid on it, so it was this building. So it was given to me because I was the only one wanting to do it, and that's opened up that I can do things in Columbus. But in general, if anybody from Columbus would have bid against me, they probably should have got this one because it would have made more sense. Even if they had more net proceeds. So I want to try and think what makes good sense for the program. What would earn more money for the program?
Well, the only problem with that is, well, okay, what numbers? Because to me, you get a selection panel, and that could be up to, I think it's leaving, you don't have anything concrete. If you're using their net income, and like I said, if they've gotten something before, they're not eligible. But if you're using, I mean, net percentages, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're saying that the selection panel gets to decide, okay, you're a better operator, this other one's, you know what I mean?
Right.
How would you prove that?
I'm not sure. That's what
Because that would give too much conjecture. That doesn't feel fair to me.
Okay, so here, let me give an example. Say something, I'll use my own facility again. Say a side attachment came open in Wapakoneta, right there by my facility. And it came open, and for some strange reason, you decided to bid on it. I don't know why you would bid on something, but say you did.
I know where it is.
Say you bid on it. Your income is less than mine. Would you get it then, even though it's right by mine, and you'd have to hop across the whole state to get there? It doesn't make sense for the program for you to get it over me. And we do have operators who will hop across the state to do a side attachment, especially if it's a pretty deep side attachment.
But if you use distance, then you're still doing
It's
the same
still a
thing.
problem.
It's still a problem.
I understand.
But I feel most people will apply to a location, and I know like what you just said, but most people apply for site attachments that kind of make sense for their facility somewhat, not 100%. So I just feel like if you use distance and you try to, that's how some people are getting a whole bunch of site attachments, because it's distance from one of their sites or facility. And they got sites all over the place. They're going to beat somebody out every time of getting, and other people won't be able to get a site attachment or be able to win that attachment, who may really need it to build their facility. Everybody wants to do that.
They do. And Madam Chair, I agree. I think the prohibition of being put to the top, I think that will help a lot. But I think people will be more, they won't apply for every little thing, even if it is clear across the state, because they worry that next week something might come open that's better and closer, that would make more sense. So your idea of they go to the bottom of the list would probably help with that stuff.
I still like using, and I know we used to do it, but I still like using the net proceeds as a way, meaning their net percentages as a way of determining the, because if we're, like I said, if we're just using, we're saying who's the better operator, we're allowing the selection panel to to dictate, their opinion, and it shouldn't be based on people's opinion.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Christy, and then whoever's on the call will get you next.
So
We'll get you next.
again, I think I'm just going to put this out. We're
Okay.
thinking of the individual that's bidding on it. I think we need to look long term at what makes sense for facilities, what makes sense for after that person leaves, what makes sense for. I think you need to look at facilities, and I think location does kind of come into play, and I just don't want to get lost at that, because that's when we have all these disjointed site attachments that are attached to stuff. Like we've got now Dayton that has site attachments in Cincinnati, and maybe that, you're not going to completely avoid that, but you can't just, you got to think of the program and facilities, not just the person.
What that's why I don't want it to be based on just the person. Who was Mark? Go ahead.
Didn't it used to go on the gross sales of the facility?
No, it was your net. It was your net.
Net proceeds.
Net proceeds, and Madam Chair, I didn't particularly care for that, because that's again where, to Johnny Mac's point, where
that's right.
people would pay their spouse $60,000 and have an inflated lower net to be able to win site attachments.
Which is insane.
Well, Madam Chair,
Yes.
the idea of it being a facility and all that's true. The one good thing is, though, even if we attach something, when the current operator leaves, we have the ability to unattach things.
We want to talk about that.
Well,
that's a problem too. That I think needs to come to the full committee, not just up to the
I just don't.
operator.
This form, I think this complicates things. Like I said, I've seen the long application. I think it's longer than than a regular than just applying for a facility.
Oh, that's
it is just complicated. Yep. Let's simplify this. Everybody likes the idea of you've gotten a site attachment. I guess that's what we can agree on. If you've gotten one, you go to the bottom of the list. 12 months.
24.
You think?
24.
I think 12 is fair. I think 12 months.
I'm saying that.
I think 12 months.
Madam Chair?
Yes. Who's that, Frank?
Yeah.
Frank, go ahead.
Yeah, Frank. The one thing I'm not necessarily against going to the bottom of the list with the 12-month thing, but my only question there is, are we going to eliminate the one person who may actually apply for that? And then if they're not able to apply for it and no one else takes it, then where do we,
Can we turn the volume up a little bit?
Madam Chair, he was saying if there's only one applicant. Well, you're at the bottom.
They automatically
you get it then.
They get it. And I don't mind the 24 months. If you're saying in that 24 months, if you got in a facility in 24
a site, you got a site in the last 24 months, you go to the bottom of the list.
Like 12.
After 24, you go right back to being on an even.
The reason why
at the time of application closure.
Yeah. I think I like 12 months for the 24 months. It's still allowing some people to snatch up all the attachments. I think shortening it allows other people a chance. You know what I mean? I think that one site attachment a year is fair.
Chris, you're not on it. You can't hear it. Oh, yeah. It knocked us off the main thing, but we have people on the.
Yeah, he's not on it.
Oh, yeah. It bumped you off. Try to call back in.
Oh, shoot.
We're having trouble with the big screen thing, but we have people on.
Yeah, the wind is crazy outside.
So try calling back in.
We're at 10:30. We're good.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes, sorry, I only answered because it was Chris. So
go ahead, hon.
Yeah, I think a lot of the debate on the signing attachments was the confusion. Was it like the distance from the facility, distance from their address, distance from their storage unit? I
Yep,
mean, that's where
It's
the
subjective.
confusion was.
yep.
Right. Well, the thing of it is, it was supposed to have been, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it was. It was from their facility, and it says facility and site. I believe it does, doesn't
It
it?
says the distance from the site, the distance of the site from the licensee's existing facility. And I wrote in my notes, defined is home, house, does that count?
Yeah.
Like, do
Well-
they have to drive by
Madam
it?
Chair, I
Yeah.
have a suggestion.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What if we do a primary site of the facility? Like, you know how we have primary sites?
That was,
Well,
Okay.
that's where
We could-
So when you have a vending route, okay, so let's think about it. If someone has a vending route, what did BE put the number on? What's their primary in a vending route?
Will we name it?
Because you just say it's a vending route. How do you all post it? And you just post a list of buildings.
Yeah.
mhm.
You don't.
It's gotta
You
be the
don't
whole
have to
facility.
say the primary. I'm sorry. Who's speaking?
Mark
Mark.
Wood.
Mark, go ahead. What you say, Mark?
I just think it should be the facility. I mean,
Yeah, it should be the facility.
a facility's a
But
facility. Once you get an attachment, you assign it to the facility, it becomes a facility. It's no longer an attachment.
Well, what we're trying to decide is how do we
So-
get.
Madam Chair, Mark
Yes.
Wood, what would you consider your primary facility? It's your rest area?
Well, I have the rest area. Yeah, I have rest area, and then I got 3 attachments to the rest area.
But you would consider your rest area your primary location?
I mean, it makes the most money, so I guess if you'd want to call it
Based
a
on
primary
they have
facility, then yeah.
something near that site, near you, right, and I mean, that's how some selections are doing that.
Yeah.
They're near the site, and it makes it complicated because they got site attachments all over the place. So if we're doing primary facility in a vending route, not everybody has a
That's a primary.
primary.
A rest area attached to their.
Well,
Yeah.
rest area is easy because it's a rest area, and that would be where your main dollars flow, or you get your main. But
Maybe we could do that.
but the thing of it is, in a vending route, you can have multiples.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't think that would.
and who determines what the price?
Madam Chair.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. If you have a vending route, who determines that? Some places it's very easy to do it, but some areas we have, because we so diverse in our locations, it's hard to. That's why, I was thinking the distance thing is more problematic if we're considering distance.
But Madam Chair, I
Yes.
think again, I do. Maybe we need to Elmo this and go on. I don't know. It's very complicated. I think looking at the existing rules, the thought process was, I know, the thought process was if you've got a machine in the same building as someone else, the proximity of those machines, it makes more sense to go to the person that's already in that building. That makes sense. Like if you think about it, if you have a building with one person, or if you're in, a base, it makes more sense. Proximity and logistics. We've got 3 people at DSCC, maybe 4 at this point. It makes more sense for someone who is right next to it than another person going across the campus. That's the thought process of it.
Let me just put a monkey wrench in that since I was on DSCC. The issue is if each one of those folks are, especially when I was in a situation like that, everybody's at a different level. Now, before we built up and opened that cafe, let's take that out. But when I was first there, on the 3rd floor, I was the one who made the least on that, and it was 4 operators. I think 3 or 4. I know at least 3. And if something opened up, then I had no chance of getting it because of a rule like this, which would have helped business. Something opening up on the campus that, they can clearly, and if that other person has other vending other places, on the campus, and something opens up near them, and, they apply, then you're denying the other people an opportunity. I mean, they to get something to help build their business, especially on a campus or a situation like that. You know, I know there's no perfect solution, but, you know, that's where we're getting into everybody needs the opportunity to build their business. I know it makes sense, you know, you next door to it, you know, depending on how close, but you next door to it, you get to get it. But that person that's next door to it might have a great facility, maybe making all kind of money. But the other guy over here, it's barely getting by.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Dwayne?
Yeah, so I guess the more I think about this, I think that whole parameter of the proximity to a person's existing facility, that whole thing, I think it ought to just be jettisoned and got rid of. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples here to think about. So my previous facility was the Mansfield vending route. And to be quite honest with you, I do not know what the primary address for that facility would be. I mean, it is so diverse and so spread out. I mean, from one side of the vending route to the other is literally 50 miles. So how do you come up with where this is located at? I know that, Mark mentioned, okay, you could have your location of your primary facility, or maybe your residence, or maybe your storage unit, or I'll even give you an example of I know of someone that had applied for a site attachment, and they weren't really close to it, but literally they drove within 100 yards of the place. I mean, does that count as well? I know that when we apply for a permanent facility of what we had just come through, like last week and finished up this week, proximity of anything has nothing to do with it. I mean, if I want to apply for something that's clear across the state, that's up to me. That makes no difference, I guess. If I want to make the drive, can I do the job?
Yes.
So I think that just getting rid of that whole thing of proximity would just uncomplicate a lot of things.
But Madam Chair, let me again mention, I get it for a big route, but if you've got a bank of machines opening up in a building that has been with one operator for years, and then someone else, miles, a county away bids on it, like, does that make sense?
Well, it may not make sense, but if somebody's trying to build their business and they can do the job, they can go. Who are we to judge if they can do that or not? I know what you're saying, Christy. We have all these ill-fitted, locations that it's hard to track because it could be crossing over into Orville's area, and mixing up things, but. If someone, I don't think someone would bid on something that clearly can't do the job. You know what I mean? I think that, if we already have it, I mean, it's like Annette said, she's in Toledo, but she's got locations here, there, and other people do too. So I think it's hard to make it all fit in a bow and be neat. It's not going to be. It's just not going to be.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'll use this building as an example. We have, I of course have machines up here on the third floor. There is an outside vendor who does vending on the first floor. Nothing to do with BE. It's a complete outside vendor. Tried to get those machines, obviously we'd love to have them. And if we ever did get them, I'm not even trying to say I should get them. I'm just using this as an example. But if we brought another operator in, then all of a sudden you're setting up two operators to directly compete with one another. And that doesn't help anybody. It might help the customers, because we probably got to do something with pricing. But we see, I'm getting here in our local post offices where we have multiple operators in a building. We have problems where one undercuts the other one in price because they have higher volume. It's not a nice situation when it can be avoided. So if there's a building, an address somewhere where somebody already has machines, I I don't think it makes sense. And then where do we draw the line?
Right.
Are you putting a new pop machine in a bank of already existing machines? Or all of a sudden they decide to sell frozen food and that they're putting it in the bank. Is that new business that should go out for a side attachment? Or if it's on the same floor, the same building? We gotta, geography has to count for a little something, I think.
Well, how would you do that? Okay, so if we go by distance to a site or facility, and so if and are we just, and again, we just pointed out that we can't figure out what's the primary facility, so it has to be sites as well. I think it'll go to that one person all the time. Anytime there's, and somebody that's near there, then maybe they're 10 miles away. Maybe they're, I don't know. I just think that using distance, and I like using distance, but I don't think there's a fair way to apply it.
Yeah, but I'm not even saying we need distance for everything. Maybe we cut out a thing if it's in the same building or on the same campus, or I don't know how far we pull that out. Maybe if it's a complete whole other place, if the same thing, if a new business came up in the building next door to this one, I do not believe that should automatically go to me or whoever would be in this building. Because even though it's right next door, it's a whole other address. You're not talking about direct competition then, this and that. But, I'd be very sad and I think most of us would be. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, is if somebody bought in VE vending into a building where we already were.
Well, I think take for example a college campus that UC or whatever, they got several. These colleges are building buildings all over.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
You go into a building and they build a building. So we're going to tell the operator that this operator may be closer, but this operator may be a little further away. We're going to give it to the operator that's closer because it just makes sense. I'm just saying that they on the campus, but they might be a little further away from that building.
Well, Madam Chair, I would think everybody on the campus could apply.
But
I'm talking about though under the same roof. If they're under the same roof, then yeah, I think it should go to the one who's already there.
But how do you start parsing that with site attachments? How do you start that? Again, how do you put that when you're a selection panel? How do you start parsing that out to? I don't know how that would be fair to everyone who applies. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just trying to say about it.
It would just go to the person. It wouldn't even come out as a site attachment if it's under the same roof. It would be offered to the person who was there. Say you were at the
in the same
federal building downtown.
Yeah.
You're at the federal building downtown, and they decide they want a pop machine on the 6th floor where we currently don't have any. I don't believe that pop machine should go out as a side attachment. I think it should be offered to the person who is already in the building.
Well, we're in agreement. We're in agreement with that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I'm in agreement with you because it's kind of like what we had out there on the base. They wanted something different. The person was there in the building already. We decided that that should go to them.
That's what I'm talking about.
But what about which Christy's point, if you're on a college campus and the building opens up, are you going to apply that same rule?
No.
Or if you have two people under the same roof, like the roads.
Yeah.
I would have a side attachment for just the two of them. Or maybe in that case, it does go to the one with the lowest net post.
Ooh, we're good.
Now we're getting muddy again.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think this is getting messy.
Madam Chair.
Yeah. Yes, Orville.
What if there's more than one operator in the same building? What if they figured it out? And they sent us, an email.
Yeah. Yeah, but I can see right now we have grievances all over the place. Chrissy's inbox and she will be filled up. I mean, I just think that this is getting messy.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree that some stuff just makes sense. If there's a machine that, like Annette's point, that, yeah, it makes sense to not even make it a attachment, but I can see, okay, what constitutes an actual site attachment then?
Exactly.
Could it be more than one machine? Should it be 4 machines? Should it be, can we, maybe that's what we would start saying, an actual site attachment? Because I can tell you now, like these, what is these, secondary sites that's gonna be coming out that we're gonna be taking over, they're on the highway. Well, there's 2 machines?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's people going, that's near those, that, you know, could be near some of those. Are we just gonna assign it, you know, say, hey, well, you're closest, so you get it?
No,
No.
that would have to go to.
Yeah.
If it's a set, and I think Annette was touching on it, if it's a different building, separate address, that's what makes it a site attachment.
I think if it's in the same building and you are the only operator there, I think it automatically
That's
should be attached. Shouldn't have to go out for 21 days, shouldn't have to do any of that. But if there's multiple people, then I think it goes
So we're
out like a
saying we
regular
have to
site
have
attachment.
multiple site attachment rules. We have to have,
Because think about, sorry, Madam Chair,
yes,
think about, let's just use Cleveland State.
okay,
If another building opens there, there's only one operator on the campus,
Yeah.
but it's a different building with a different address. So you've got to
I
think,
can agree. That
you know
makes-
what I mean?
Yeah, I can agree, and I'm not disagreeing, I'm just trying to think
Like, it
about
wouldn't make
the,
sense for another.
yeah,
But-
those make sense,
Madam Chair,
yes.
like OSU constantly is opening new ones.
Yeah.
Yep, and we have
And that,
multiple
that
people.
creates a problem because you got several people,
I just
That's
think
in
if
the
it's in the same building,
yeah,
It's
same
automatic.
building,
yeah, one operator.
one operator,
It's a.
that's
it's-
the only time
Yeah,
I
that
think
it
on
could.
I
campus though
agree.
too. If
I
it's
can
one
agree with
operator on campus, you wouldn't just post
Agree.
one building on the campus.
I agree with that, Sally, because what if it's a big hospital?
What if you
Or
just
what
got-
if it's a whole other facility?
What if it's a cafeteria or a micro market that
At
makes?
this point, we
That's
did
what
have
we
this
have to
discussion
Remember, that's why I went to saying it depends on
at a OVRC
it
meeting.
depends on what it is, because if you're opening up a micro market and somebody has all the vending in the building, you know, do we say the person with the vending gets the micro market?
Madam Chair, if it's more than one operator in the same building, put it out as a site attachment opportunity.
But I'm saying if there's one operator in the building,
Automatically goes to them.
okay, no, the micro market does?
Yeah, I think if anything gets added to the building and there's
I
one
would agree.
operator, it goes to them. Now, if that operator doesn't want it,
Yeah, I
they
don't,
can put it.
I don't have a problem with that, but I just wondering, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I think it makes sense to me. It makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't have
Madam
a
Chair, I
problem
do
with it.
too, because if you bring a micro market into a building where an operator's always
Their
already
sales will be
established, their sales are gonna go down.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden they're gonna have the right competition there. So they should get that.
But where we, so,
Okay, so we agreed that one
If-
operator, same address,
yeah, something opens
one
up,
operator. it
same
goes-
building,
Same building, one operator goes to them.
okay?
Multiple operators, and I think that just needs one sentence. If there's more than one operator in the building, it'll go out under the
Side
site
attachment.
attachment. We have a few of those, but we probably should put the sentence there just to cover that. Because it does happen. It goes out as a site
Madam Chair?
attachment. Can't be helped.
Frank, go ahead. Is that Frank?
Frank,
Hey,
you talk a little bit
Bill-
louder.
Yeah, I'll
Quiet.
try. My question is, if the person who is in that building doesn't want it, then does it go out as a site attachment?
Yes.
I was just trying to
Yes,
figure that out.
Yeah, they get first right of refusal.
yes.
Okay, thanks.
That was Tyler. She did a motion.
But so we still have the issue of what do we base it on if it's, so that we eliminate that because it won't even go out to everyone else.
Right.
But
No.
where we
So
have
we
to
can take
figure out is,
geography away then. If Madam Chair, I'm fine with taking geography away if we got that issue figured out. I just don't want people in the same buildings.
Right.
competing with one
So
another.
I think, but I'm still thinking, and I know you all is against it, I think that I don't like, I guess what I don't like is if we have a selection panel deciding who's a better operator.
Nope. Madam Chair?
Yes.
Let's do the net proceeds then.
Okay.
Lowest net proceeds like we used to do, but you get put to the bottom of the list, and I would like to see 24 months.
Well, I don't have a problem with 24 months. You can't get another site attachment.
No, you can, but you're at the bottom of the list.
You're at the bottom. Okay,
someone
I
else
agree.
has
Okay,
already
24
got one.
months. I'm fine with 24 months, and I think that, you know, if we're taking away the other stuff, I think that's fair. That gives other people opportunities to pick up. So if you've gotten a site attachment in the last 24 months, you go to the bottom of the list.
So Madam Chair, again, the whole net proceeds thing, I think, I'll just say it. I think sometimes we are awarding people that aren't good business people.
Exactly.
Well, this is the thing, though, and I would have to say, we're reacting to a handful of people that would cover, how many operators are we have in our state?
71.
71 operators, and maybe, let's just give a general, 10 people? So everybody, I don't want to make a rule just because, or not make a rule just because you have these handful of people that's taking advantage. I think, again, like, there's got to be a way for, you know, I don't know how to fix that.
Madam Chair?
Madam Chair?
The 2 year, the 24-month thing would help with that.
Yeah.
Because it would not make the same person continually get, they might pull it once.
Yeah.
But they're at the bottom of the list then for 2 years after that.
Yeah, and they can't keep, you know, other people will have the opportunity.
Yes.
Because, you know, I think if we start trying to fix, make rules based on specific things like that, we're going to have problems. And I think, Dwayne, you want to speak?
Yes. Well, I have a little exception on going by the lowest net profit because it kind of goes along with what was already brought up in this meeting, what Mark and I think Dean was talking about, you know, some operators are operating, you know, 15% net profit or 5% net profit. Their net proceeds are going to be way down. And just because they're a bad operator, they're going to get, you know, an advantage or awarded a site attachment.
What about, okay, so somebody suggested, and I think, it's gross percentage or something, and
Yes.
I think, why did we go away from that?
Well, Madam Chair, that was for a selection of scoring. I don't think that's a good thing to use for this, because somebody who's a truly legitimate low-income operator, because they have a small facility, may have a lower, or may have a higher gross percentage than somebody else, and we want to, our main goal is to help people.
Madam Chair?
Maybe like whoever has the higher net percentage, not the lowest, but the higher. I don't know.
They're still in that area. Red areas would have an advantage.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes, yes, Mark.
Why can't we just go with the gross overall sales? Because when it comes down to it, it's all about your sales. The lowest person with the lowest sales should have the first option on the site.
The only problem you have is some people have larger facilities than others.
Yeah, but they're making more money.
They're running much more. They're running much more. You know, they have larger facilities. They have bunch of site attachments. I mean, I'm not in disagreement, but the problem is you're comparing. You know.
But if we're trying to make better facilities, that's going to make better facilities. That's going to take the gross up.
Yeah, I don't disagree with it.
I do too.
I like
okay,
it.
if you go by gross sales, okay, let's break it down. If we're using gross sales,
and you still have the, Madam Chair, what Annette is suggesting, like once every 24 months, you can't be the one that gathers all of them. I kind of
say
like
if
this.
someone So someone bids on a location and their gross sales is 150,000 because they don't have a big location. And someone else's gross sales is over 200,000. Right? We're going to give the location, the site attachment to the person that has the 200,000?
No,
The one.
the one with the one.
The 150.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So the lowest gross sales.
Yep.
Yes.
I think, Mark, you hit it on.
I like it.
I like it.
Good job, Mark
I
Wood.
like it.
All right, Mark.
All right, I hit something today.
Yeah. I like it.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I think we should still look into those who may apply for sites in totally different cities. I mean,
I just think it's, I see what you all are saying, but if nothing's coming out and some people are desperate to add to their location,
Facility.
how do we, facilities, how do we stop them from doing that? Because a lot of times people will take something up in the Cleveland area and they live in Columbus, but a site attachment comes open in Columbus. You know what I mean?
well, what if, Madam Chair, we put, language in there that they cannot release it for a year?
I think that's fine. I think that if you bid on something, but I don't know if this is the area but I believe if you bid on something, you should have to run it for a year. And actually, when I was on 271, that was in our bid.
We put it in the posting.
That was in the posting. That we had to run, you got to run those site attachments or whatever it is. You bid on it, it comes out as a bid, a whole bid. You run it for a year. And then also you should have to provide sales numbers to say why, you know what I mean?
Oh, Madam Chair, this is for a site attachment. You got to keep the site attachment.
Okay.
Here. Is that what you're saying?
Madam Chair, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have a problem with people taking?
Yes, they
attachments and
bid on
dumping
it
them?
and then they're
Okay.
immediately peeling it off.
Yeah, I know they peel it off when they bid on. I know we have that issue. I didn't
that's
know
what
we had people that took site attachments and then within a year say, I changed my mind. I don't want it.
Well, I think that when you bid on these, I think that's fair to have them do it for, you should have to, that was in a posting.
I'm all for that. If you're going to go
Yep.
through that process,
Yeah.
you should have to keep it for that long.
Yeah.
And if you do drop it, that doesn't excuse you to go back to the top of the list. You still was awarded that.
Yes. So the month still should count.
Yeah,
The 24 months still should count.
absolutely.
And we should put that on the application as far as, I guess on the, award. You have to provide that on the application. When was the last, when
did you last receive
your
site
site attachment? Or something like that.
Part of this facility, yeah.
Yeah.
And we decided on 24 months, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You all don't have a problem with the 24 months? Okay, yes.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mark?
so does that rule go into effect when the rule changes? 24
Yeah.
months from that moment on? Or are you going to backdate it behind 2 years?
It's it's going to say 24 months as of the application deadline.
Yeah. As of, I guess you got to add that in there.
Yeah, I got it.
As of the application deadline, Mark.
Madam Chair.
Okay, I'm not sure I like it now. I mean, that's a long time to knock me out of a bid.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Mark, but if you are the only applicant, you still get it.
Yeah.
If.
But
Yeah.
but you also but and the thing of it is you're I think that this makes it a little fairer for everybody to. What did you?
I would do. I'm okay with a year, but 2 years, that's a long time.
Madam Chair, could I just read how I have it?
Yeah.
I said,
Sorry.
Madam Chair,
And then you've
Vice
been doing
Madam
this
Chair.
job so long, I understand. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. Go ahead, Sally.
I have, if the applicant has been awarded a site attachment in the past 24 months, excuse me, at time of application deadline, they shall go to the bottom of the list. Is that how we want to read?
No, but we're missing a part. Read that one more time.
If the applicant has been awarded a site attachment in the past 24 months at the time of application deadline, they shall go to the bottom of the list.
Yes.
The only other thing, Madam Chair, I'd added to that is as part of their current facility. Because if they move to a new facility and want to build that, I don't think that should be held against them.
I agree. That is true.
To their
So
existing
it actually
Yeah,
starts
so
all over again
facility.
if you awarded a new facility that
Yeah, starts
start
over.
again. It resets.
Yeah, I don't want someone who got a site attachment in facility A, they bid on facility B, was awarded it. I don't think it'd be fair to penalize them
I
on a new facility.
Madam Chair,
Frank, go ahead, Frank.
just for my clarification, and I guess everyone else's. So, if someone had got a site attachment, and then they're the only one who applies for it within that, after it's posted within that 24 month, and no one else applied, then it would still go to them, even though they had already got one within that past time period. Is that correct?
Yes.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mark.
another question. So say if somebody has the lower gross, which already, puts them in a good spot to get that attachment, but they just got an attachment a year ago, you just knocked them to the bottom of the list, and that's what we're trying to do is build facilities. So I don't get that rule.
Go one more. Say it one more time, Mark, so I make sure I understand.
I'm saying if I bet against somebody and my gross is lower, so that should, put me up on the facility, on getting the attachment. But if I had an attachment, I bet on, say, a year ago to build my facility up, because I'm trying to increase my facility, I'm not going to be able to bid on it. That puts me at the bottom of the list. So somebody's going to jump me with maybe a $250,000 gross. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
I
got knocked to the bottom, even though I was the less operator.
Yeah, this is the only thing though. We're trying to find a way to give everybody an opportunity to build business, and I do understand. But we had at one point the same people getting multiple site attachments for whatever distance, whatever we were using, net, whatever. It was a combination of things, and other people who want to continue to build their business wasn't getting any. But because of those reasons. So I think that I don't know if it'd be a perfect solution.
Yeah, so basically it's just freeze. You're going to freeze my income for 2 years because now I can't bid on nothing. I don't.
You can still bid.
No.
Yeah, you can bid, but your odds ain't very good if somebody else bids.
Well, that is just that. I think that's only if someone else bids, because it could be a situation you're the only one bid on it. You know what I mean? That could be a situation, so it kind of could go either way. Go ahead, Sally.
Well, you'd get it either way then.
Yeah.
I was the only one that bid on it.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, Mark brings up a good point, and this is an issue with the rule as it is today, is which criteria comes first?
Yep.
Well, I think
we have to figure out,
I thought we were taking distance off the table, and we
still have gross sales.
Gross sales is the only criteria.
We took out everything else. We're trying to simplify it. We're going by gross sales. We all liked.
But now, we say, is it heavily weighted on the net income, the distance from the site?
No, gross sales.
But that's what I'm saying. So we're automatically going with, if you've been awarded one, you go to the bottom, and then gross sales is next?
Yes. No. Yeah. Because you're already, you're at the bottom of the list.
Yeah. Well, the selection panel got to determine that first. Before you start calculating and looking at what's the gross sales, determine who's had the a site attachment, last site attachment, determine that first. Then look at the gross
To
sales.
their existing.
Then we've
But I
got
don't,
to put wording in
Chair?
here that this is.
Go ahead. One second, Mark.
I
and then-
just, I don't see where that's helping operator build his facility by making him wait. I mean, he's gonna have to wait every 2 years before he can bid on another facility. And I mean, the chances are
When we talk
nobody
about
bidding
site-
on it.
When we
It's
talk
a,
about
it's
site,
a,
we're
right,
talking
a site
about site
attachment.
attachment.
Right, but
Yeah.
if nobody else bids on it, it's a
You
poor attachment
automatically get
anyway.
it.
Right,
Yeah, you
because it's a
automatically
poor
get it if no
attachment,
one else bids.
probably. Nobody wants it other than you.
Right.
So if you get one that, you know, you got 4 or 5 people bidding on, and I got the best numbers, but I already bid on attachment a year ago, then I'm out of, you know what I mean? I'm at the bottom of the list. For
So what
no
he's
other
saying-
reason than I tried to build my facility up.
What he's saying too is why is Mark being penalized if he's the only one to bid on a site, the only one willing to take the site, then a more lucrative site comes up, he's penalized because he's already been awarded a site.
Well, this is the thing though, and I would say that if this is the issue starts getting messy again. If we start just assigning, you know, if we put it out as a site attachment, because remember we just said that only certain things will just be attached, if distance, blah, blah, blah. But if you put something out as a site attachment, then I think you have to just follow. If he was the only bidder, then how do you know that? I mean, you wouldn't know that until the closure date. And then the selection panel is supposed to follow something totally different.
No, I get what he's saying.
I do get it, but I'm trying to figure out how do we.
Why don't we go back to 12 months? Why 24?
I was okay with the 12. The 24, that's a little out there.
Okay.
Okay, I think you've gotten enough
I'm fine.
coming around the mountain.
I am. Well, we can go back to
Stop
12
pulling
months.
me around mountains, Mark.
We can go back to
Madam-
12.
We can go back to
Because that's
12.
what I thought.
Yeah.
But I just.
Mark's point is well taken.
Yeah.
If he's the sole bidder, if
Yeah.
someone's the sole bidder, I don't want him to be penalized for being the
Right.
one to willing to
Right.
stick their neck
So,
out
right.
for a
So-
long period of time.
So
it's a
12
very
months
good-
is a fair, okay. So we're going to use the 12 months. And
I agree.
She doesn't like it.
who doesn't?
Sally don't like it.
No, that's not why I'm shaking my head.
Oh,
I'm shaking my head about this whole thing.
I know,
I hate
Sally
this
says
rule.
I'm writing this
I
stuff.
hate this rule.
But it's always
Well,
been so
okay,
confusing.
so now we landed on, okay, let's just be clear.
Or
We
just put
landed on,
everyone's name in a hat and throw it.
we'll decide, first the selection panel will decide when the person, because we'll have that on the application or whatever you filled out, of when the person received their last site attachment. And whoever, you know, if nobody's received one, okay, then we'll just go by gross sale, the lowest gross sales. And if you have, then that person goes with, that has to be determined first, and we're going to use 12 months, not 24.
yes, as of the application
As of the application date,
deadline.
deadline. Okay. How's that sound? Everybody okay with that?
Madam Chair,
Who's speaking?
Dean.
Dean, go ahead.
I just got to ask this question. So you go after an attachment and your sales do go up, but net profit never goes up. Is that going to be explored in the next selection of an attachment or not?
For this thing.
What?
Well,
Do you understand what I mean?
Say it
yeah.
again.
What he's saying is some of these folks, some people's gross sales is, but we're going with the lowest gross sales, not the highest.
That's right.
Dean, say what you're saying again, so we make sure we understand you.
I just want to make sure if a person's sales do go up, but their net profit never does, is that just going to be ignored?
No such thing.
Those should
Yeah,
be
they're going off the
explored
gross sales.
during MOR.
Yes.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, it wouldn't
Right.
matter, Dean, on the selection for a site, because their gross sales are going up. So in theory, it would it would count against them per se for the next selection for another site unless they bid against people who are above them. The net proceeds wouldn't have anything to do with this.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Lindsay?
will this stop people from taking site attachments that aren't great?
Oh,
I
good call.
think we need to discuss some of those, because maybe those will revert back to what you said instead of it, if you, so if we put a location and made it site attachments and some people don't go for it, then I think the local selection panel can actually look and see if they can find someone interested in attaching it without having to go through the selection. I mean,
But
that
then
might
next
be a
time a
problem.
site attachment comes up, then they would go to the bottom of the list because they did us a favor by taking the
Madam
site.
Chair,
Well, I don't think it should apply. Yes,
I wouldn't either.
I don't think it should apply. I think that if they're taking it and it went through the process and nobody bid on it, why should they be penalized for keeping our location? And I think that's Mark speaking.
Then we gotta keep track
yeah,
of it.
I just think that if nobody bids on it, we should question why we're even taking it anyway. So,
Well, that's,
I mean,
But
it's
that
got to be a
happens a lot.
pretty sad paying job for nobody to bid on.
yeah. Because we do have many,
Somebody
many
out
of
there,
those
there's a lot of
locations
people
that
that will take
if-
attachments that'll nab them up, but they're not going to take
that
something
don't.
that don't pay.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, maybe if it is for some reason good and we want to keep it, we can still continue to keep it under a temp or
Yeah.
under, I mean,
I
there's
agree.
things we could do to
I
continue.
I like that though, Annette. I like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, if it's worth keeping,
Yeah.
we just keep it under a temp agreement.
Yeah.
There's nothing harm with that.
Yeah,
And if
I
it's
like
not
that.
worth keeping because nobody wants it, then we send them
Where we don't make it,
Just a
yeah, that way we don't have
Yeah,
to
that's what
making
I'm
it
thinking.
messy.
All the OSU,
Pascagoula, Coshocton,
Newark, I don't know if that does well with that.
Newark does well with the others.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Coshocton and Pataskala is the dragon weight on those two.
Tell them we don't want them.
We got a bunch of old options like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So we pretty much landed again on, we're gonna use the lowest gross sales, 12 months, you go to the bottom of the list. If you had a site attachment in the last 12 months, go to the bottom of the list. You're not off the list, you go to the bottom. And anything else anybody else can think of?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
one last thing. So say Mark gets an attachment and Dwayne gets an attachment. But so they're the only two that bid on it. The gross sales are the same. Do you do like Mark was 10 months ago, Dwayne was 9 months ago, whoever, had it, I just want to make sure everything's like,
I appreciate that. I do too, but, well, if they go to the bottom of the list, then the one would go below them.
okay. So we just need to keep track of
The
the list.
most recent one awarded.
Yeah, it goes, yeah.
Hot mess.
What we're
It is,
using gross sales for the prior year, or gross sale, I mean, because,
From the application deadline.
by the applicant, okay.
12 months to the application deadline.
So you just go back 12 months and whatever that is.
Yeah, there's no way they're gonna.
I know, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to
Chair,
I mean,
put that out there.
$5 off.
Do they need to have a full 12 months?
Yeah. Well, I think if you don't have.
What if they're new and they've only temped like Gino, Madam Chair? I mean, he's only been
Well,
for a while.
we're talking about under a BTOA. I
Okay.
hope.
No.
I mean, a bureau operator.
Yeah, under a tip,
Yeah.
you can't apply for a site attachment anyway.
Right.
Okay.
I think we're only talking about the, if you got a permanent location.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
but I see where Lindsay is coming from. If somebody just signed a BOA and they've only been in there for 6 months, and then another applicant was under a BOA for 12 months, how do you determine that?
Well, the thing of it is,
It would be gross.
that more experience, or that person is, I should say that with under 12 months, it is what it is. I don't think that,
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
Unless it's a new facility, we have sales data for that facility.
but I don't think it's fair to add that sales data to to that
But then the
person.
new person would get it because they only have 6 months of sales and the other one has 12. So they would have more than likely have less
Sales.
sales.
Yeah, because if you start adding in the prior, if we're just going by the facility and, you know, it doesn't matter who was running it, we were talking about that person that's applying.
So,
Yeah.
Madam Chair,
So
here's,
actually, you're right,
here's,
I didn't think about what you just said in that. Go
so
ahead, please.
my question is, someone changes facilities, so they've only been in that facility 2 months, they want a side attachment. How are you grading that with gross sales?
If they bid on a different facility?
So Mark's been in for 2 months at this new facility. And then other people also are applying for this site attachment. How are you doing it by gross sales if he's only been in the new one for 2 months?
I agree.
There's so many little things that are gonna
Yeah,
come up with this.
That is a problem. If we're using gross sales.
I mean, we could always do like the average of, I know.
Yeah, but if you, like you said, 2 months, it won't be average.
I like gross sales of the facility, Ellie.
Yeah. The sales of the facility, even if you're, Madam Chair, even if you're new there, unless it's a brand newly opened facility, there's a track record.
But then you
and I know
have,
you're holding another person against them.
yeah, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Then you have issues where an operator isn't doing well in that, or they're new and they tank the facility. Someone else comes in, they want a site
They're going to
attachment.
get penalized.
Yeah.
They're going to get penalized for somebody else poorly running the location. So,
Yes.
Or they could get boosted because the other person.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
well,
But that would ruin their.
But is it fair to the other applicants? I think.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Yeah.
Is it fair to the other applicants that you get a site attachment because the person before you tanked the location, so it made you look like you had lower sales, but it could be a very good location.
All right, Madam Chair, I don't know if it's a good idea, but in the brainstorm here, I'll come up with worse ones. Maybe because you just took on a brand new facility, you have to wait 12 months to ask for site attachment.
I like that myself.
Can you repeat that, please?
Because you just took on a brand new facility.
Yeah.
You've got to be in there 12 months to be eligible for a site attachment.
That also
that gives you a chance to get in and fill. I mean, you can test something.
To remove, like he just said, to remove or add. You have to be.
Yes, add or remove something from your facility. You have to be. That gives you a full year of sales to the new place.
Where you're not.
I kind of think that squares it right there.
Except for if no one bids, and that they would be the only person who bid.
I think we said that.
We can temp it. We can let them temp it. We can do. There's things we can do then.
Unless we.
I don't like to set people up.
Unless you're ineligible to bid. You should be ineligible.
I think you're ineligible to bid.
You should be ineligible.
Your first year in a brand new facility, you shouldn't. If be eligible to bid for a site attachment.
So we're going to need to create an eligibility thing for site attachments then.
Yeah, and this is just strictly about site attachment.
Yeah. Which we already have for site attachment. We have eligibility because we can't have this stuff in here already.
Well, we have it for.
Where is that located?
It's not transition. Where is it?
It's letter E.
E, and it's up above?
Right, but we're going to need to create the same thing for site.
Yeah, we are. We're going to need to do something for site. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I like it, Madam Chair.
But you're not
waiting a year because you get a brand new facility, you focus on that.
James is coming over tomorrow. We're going to move it up.
Somebody's talking, and we can hear you.
So let me brainstorm a little bit. Be the bearer of bad news. So if I'll just use myself, we're talking about site attachments. If I was to bid on something and got a new location, and then I wanted to get a site attachment that was 10 miles away or 5 miles away, that would apply to me as well. I'm just trying to think of problems we might run into setting things up like that.
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
If it's there's always the possibility if it was something that everyone thought should be considered for that one, it can be temp for that year period. It doesn't need to go out for a side attachment right away.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking how that would, I like it, I do. I just want to make sure that we consider all areas.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mark?
I think sometimes that we put a lot into it. So
Okay. We're
I mean, that's-
overthinking.
yeah.
So, if we're satisfied with what we have right here, or what was sweet, but I think, all of us should think about it a little more. Just what we said, Mark, 12 months, lowest gross sales. And then am I missing?
Yep, no, that's it. We do need to do some eligibility, we said.
Yeah.
With your first 12 months.
Yeah.
In a new facility.
Yeah, your first 12 months.
Take away or you can't add or remove a site
for 12 months.
And then we do still need to decide on an application process. That's the one thing we kind of skipped over.
Yeah.
We jumped right from what to do with a site to what we're going to do to store
I
a site.
think that helps because the application process, you talking about site attachment?
Yes.
Okay. I think that this simplifies it a lot because what I've seen, I'm like, are you kidding me?
No, we don't need that big form.
Yeah, I think this simplifies it. Don't you think, Orville and
We just need to figure out what we're gonna put on it.
Yeah.
Unless we just leave it the same and let somebody send an email.
I hate those letters.
No.
They are really.
You get to judge. I think we should just have an application. I think it is something we should fill out. Just like we have,
Simplified application, I like that.
simple application. And then they fill that out because they got to put on there when the last time they had a site attachment. Then the selection panel will just go through that. If we got to go through people put all kind of stuff on it. I've never liked the letter of interest. I never did.
Security background.
Never did. I just think it should just say site attachment application. Something. Just keep it simple.
Have you ever had anyone say we don't have anything?
No. Or that they don't sell like products.
They don't sell like products, but I want it anyway.
So basically, I can just copy that eligibility for facilities, change it all to site, and add the 12-month thing if you want.
Yeah,
So it would be the same criteria of the
You
license.
gotta have a license, you can't have money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe what we do with this, since we've so much conversation, is that just this specific rule we send out.
And you have to be
What's that?
Yeah, to the committee.
someone temping. Well, we said people temping, and you got to be under a BTOA.
BOA.
BOA. I mean BOA.
Yeah, you can't
not
apply
under
for a site
BTOA.
attachment. That should also be one of the eligibility requirements, that you have to be under a
can't be temping
bureau
and then
operator agreement.
pick up site attachment. Yeah.
I mean, you can temp, but not for the facility you're temping.
Right.
So, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Maybe say the applicant has not been under a BOA for their existing facility for 12 months. Put it under the ineligible thing.
Yeah.
Say it one more time.
The applicant has not been under a BOA for their existing facility for 12 months.
Right.
You
I'm trying to make sure that says what I want.
I was going to say, is it forwards or backwards like that? Is it what makes you eligible or what makes you ineligible?
Yeah.
This section just says why they would be ineligible.
Okay, then it would be the way you put it.
Okay.
And then I think we've
the applicant has not been under a BOA
at their existing facility
for
12 months. And then I think we put the part about not adding or removing where we have the site. There's another rule where we talk about removing a site from a facility.
And that's in Rule 6.
No,
it's on
this is down below. It's M.
Okay.
This says Well, let's continue to go on.
It is right there, you're right.
I still don't know if I like the way that's worded. Can someone read something else into that? I just want to make sure everybody's interpreting, every selection panel will interpret that the same way.
Well, Madam Chair, we'll get a chance to read through all of these and find those.
Okay.
Like Christy said, we can send this out to the
Yeah.
whole committee since it's an important.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll all need to look for glitches in
Mhm.
everything we're doing.
Okay.
Especially this role.
And Madam Chair, like Lindsay, I really appreciate, like, sometimes thinking, I mean, we can't solve everything. I
Right.
understand that. There's always going to be exceptions, but sometimes, you know, in the Lean Six Sigma, pokey-oking it and trying to find holes on the
Right.
front end does help.
Okay, so then I don't know if a successful applicant declines to accept a site or is determined ineligible to accept a site, the selection panel shall reconvene if more than one candidate remains and award the site based on a majority vote after considering the criteria outlined in this rule. If only one eligible applicant remains, the selection panel shall award the site to that applicant.
That's so
So-
wordy.
Yeah, that is a bunch of gobbledygook.
Where are we at on that?
Well, that, K.
Okay. Oh,
Shouldn't it just be if only one applicant, they should be awarded the site, or is that just, we know
Yeah,
that?
we can put that in. If there's only one eligible applicant, the site will be awarded to them.
I think it just go to the next person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
It just be simple as
if
that.
they decline, then it goes to the next.
And if that person
person-
decline, it goes to that next person.
Yeah, there's some language like that. It goes
Yeah.
to the next
Yeah,
person.
I just,
in line.
I think that it
Next
should
most
sit right
eligible
there.
person or something.
Or, yeah, the next person
I
in
think
line.
I think it goes to the next person that
with the next.
eligible.
Yeah,
Eligible.
next eligible candidate.
The next eligible candidate.
Yeah.
And
There's,
it
we
can
don't
stop
have
right
to
there.
do all that reconvening and,
Yeah. Yeah.
hey, I think there can be language for that. In the event of a tie between two or more operators, the available site will be awarded by drawing lot. That's gone.
Yeah.
Just wipe that out.
Thank you. And now
There's no
for,
need for it.
now
about-
for,
Oh, now here's the fun one. Okay. Well, yeah, we have to. If a licensee wishes to detach a site from their facility, they must submit a request in writing to the BE program manager. BE will work with OVRC and the licensee to accommodate their request as quickly as possible, while also ensuring compliance with any existing Bureau Grantor agreements and Bureau Operator agreements that may be affected.
Madam Chair, this
Yeah.
is my note.
Uh,
Don't care for this.
Okay.
I think if operator wants to give up a site, they need to present to OVRC and Bureau, and motion is made on whether they can do that. Because again, we're looking at the health of the facility going forward. I think that there are circumstances that, you know, and I do think that they need to come with sales data for that stuff. And again, we might be looking at one or two machines. We might be looking at a little site, or we might be looking at a bigger site. But I think that's where we get these it's just crazy. Anyone who gets in there, and sometimes we have people that don't even give it time.
Well, that's why we said a year. They have to run it at least a year. And then if they want to detach it.
Do we have that in there that they have to run it a year?
Well,
we need to put it.
Yeah, that's what we said. They have to run, when you've been on a location and this is your main, you should have to run it a year before you can detach.
But then if you want to detach, I still think it should come to the full committee. I really do.
I'm fine with that. I don't
I'm good with that.
have a problem with it at all.
What about those that are online? Does anyone have an opinion?
I'm good with it.
Yeah, Mark said.
I think that's fine because there's some. Actually, there's some that I think everyone would agree with. This is garbage. It's not making anyone money. We should get out of there. But there's some that could be very harmful to the program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I'm fine with that.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Orville.
Oh, are you going to put a wrench in that?
No, but we do need to look at Rule 4:17, maintain gross sales information individually for each BGA for the assigned facility and provide support and documentation of reported sales to BE on request to detach from a site or facility.
Okay,
That's still okay.
that's a lot, but read that one more time, Ollie.
Maintain gross sales information individually for each BGA.
Or is it each site? Or
For the assigned facility and provide support and documentation of reported sales to BE.
I think it shouldn't say facility, because if somebody wants to detach something, it's part of their facility, so shouldn't it say site?
It should be BGA.
If we maintain gross sales for the total site or total facility?
The total facility won't necessarily make sense.
No,
If they wanted
it
to
has to be for the
detach,
site.
Well, BGA doesn't make sense.
no, it
No, it
doesn't.
doesn't. That's what I'm thinking. It shouldn't
Yeah.
be BGA
It should
because
just
you're
be
detaching a facility. We're talking about detaching a facility, right?
No,
That's
detaching a site.
I mean, site. I meant a site. We're talking about detaching a site. So maintain sales for that site.
Yes.
Because that's what you all need
Yes.
to determine. That's what OVRC needs to determine.
Yes.
What to do with it.
Yeah.
So, Madam
I
Chair.
think. Yeah. Yes.
Keith.
Yes, Keith.
So, if you're not for lack of words, a permanent operator, not permanent operator, permanent facility, and you just temping or something, you can't do that, right?
We're not talking about temps.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
other
okay.
piece of it
That's
is,
what I want.
unless someone is strictly like no card reader, that would be hard. But card readers, you can pull from a site easily the sales.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because and even if you, because that's the thing. I think it should say site and BGA. I don't know why we got BGA in there.
Yeah, that's stupid. I don't know.
I know why. That was the last time. The prior rule package had said individual addresses. People were like, I can't keep all the sales data for like a big, huge route on like a base or something. So then it was like, or a college campus, it was individual addresses like OU. That would have been so complex. So that's why we did BGA. But it doesn't make sense.
What I do know is, at least for myself, and I'll speak for myself, if I am running a location and I'm pulling cash or pulling, and I go to that location and like, oh, this is crap, you're pretty much mentally keeping track of what you're pulling in and out, what's going in there. So you kind of get a good idea of what your sales are or what your sales. So if someone knows that eventually they want to probably detach, it's their obligation to keep track of what it is. They should be able to keep track. I mean, you see what I'm saying, Annette?
Yeah, I do.
If you know you want to probably detach that location, so if we're saying you got to run it for 12 months. Okay, so if you're 6 months into it and you see that this is not a good location, or say if you 10 months into it, then you got to start tracking it, and that will make someone do that.
Yeah, Madam Chair, with credit card readers, it's easy.
Right.
It is.
Anyone can bring up any
It is.
receipt, but not even location.
I can't imagine people running
vending
things without credit card readers.
So if they don't have credit card readers,
Well,
they'll have
that's
to do a little more work. But they could do, the old time meter reading, the machines will be the keep track of how much sales it had. There's ways to do it.
Or just get a pouch and keep that cash separate.
Yeah, the old fashioned.
Yeah, that's the old fashioned one.
Yep, there's ways for it to be done.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
So for this section, I've got so far, if a licensee wishes to detach a site from their facility, they shall have run the site for 12 months or more. Do we still want them to submit a request in writing with sales documentation to the program manager? Who could send it to the commission?
Yeah, I would think, yes, that would be a place to send it.
And
then
present their reasons to the OVRC?
Yes, it will then be forwarded to OVRC to determine
Yeah,
if the detachment
It's granted.
is warranted.
or warranted
So they're
granted.
not
Or granted.
presenting to OVRC, they're
No.
sending the sales and the
To-
reasons to the
to
program
the
manager who
program
shares with
manager,
OVRC.
right.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, that I would think most committee chairs would, if that person came and wanted to speak on that behalf, would.
Yeah.
I can't fathom
Can-
one would
can you-
allow that.
Right. Can you reread that, Sally, how that's gonna flow?
Yep. If a licensee wishes to detach a site from their facility, they shall have run the site for 12 months or more, submit a request in writing with reasoning and sales documentation to the BE program manager.
Let's change run to
Yeah.
Operator, okay.
operations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Hello.
Yeah, we're here.
Got you, Keith.
Okay.
Yeah, Sally's
Quiet.
correcting something.
Okay.
I got it.
Go ahead, Sally. Yeah, you all want to hear how it sounds now?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Wake up, guys.
We're almost there.
Yeah, I think we only have one more on this one,
Yeah, we're almost through rules.
the first time.
Sally, you want to give an official read one more
Okay.
time?
All right.
If a licensee wishes to detach a site from their facility, they shall have operated the site for 12 months or more and submit a request in writing with reasoning and sales documentation to the BE program manager.
Okay, then it goes to
Full selection.
OVRC.
The full this
Who will, to the program manager who will
Send it to
forward it to OVRC.
the full OVRC
Yeah, to OVRC for
review.
and determination.
Yeah.
As to whether the detachment is granted.
review and determination at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
If the request is
OVRC
granted, not
when the
not
next
the
time
detachment,
OVRC
but the
convenes.
request. And then there should be a statement after, like what this says, that efforts will be made to do as quickly as possible, because we do need to especially if we don't repost it, if we decide we're gonna bail out, we gotta give the grantor a lot of times 30 days notice and things like that. So we want people to know it's not gonna be, OVRC says, yay, you can do it, but it's gonna take another little bit of time to get it done.
We're gonna leave this little last part, but they're continuing to comply with any your grantor agreement, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
until a determination is made.
Yeah, the BE will work with OVRC and the loan licensee to accommodate their, if approved, if approved, BE will work with OVRC, the rest of that,
Yeah.
to do it as quick. We don't want people thinking the next day they're out of there.
Right. And they quit filling the machine.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. One more sentence here. If a local selection committee determines that an awarded operator has not transitioned in a timely manner, the local selection committee may determine if they should repost or extend the time for transition. I'm fine. I don't have a problem with that.
I don't either.
We've had some people take an exorbitant amount of time.
Wow.
I thought we'd never get through it.
What time do we have?
11:40.
I think we can go on to rule 4.
Yeah, we can do it.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes?
are we going to cover what I put on the agenda, the Cleveland location?
That's for next week.
That's for next week. We're just doing rules today.
What was this Cleveland thing?
What is the Cleveland?
We're going to lose. We're screwing up the federal building up there because nobody's running it. And I want to put it out. I want to put the location out for bid now, as soon as possible.
I understand, but we're gonna have to
But that's the AJC building, right? So
Yes.
that goes on the agenda for next Friday.
Yeah, we got that on the agenda, but in a special meeting by the sunshine law, we can't talk about anything but what's posted.
Yep.
Okay.
But we have it on the agenda.
But we put it on the agenda now, John.
All right.
All right. Rule 4,
Okay, let me go to rule 4. Hold on a second.
operator responsible. Okay. Operators' responsibilities, leave, and self-employment status. Ready?
No. Okay, I'm on it.
All right. All licensed operators in the BE program are self-employed entrepreneurs who are not employees of the state of Ohio. In addition, or consistent with any terms contained in a BGA for an operator's assigned facility, all operators who choose to participate in the BE program shall. Wait, one of y'all wrote that, Brian.
Wouldn't have been me.
One of your kind.
You people.
Yeah.
All right, you shall comply with Chapter 3304 of the Revised Code and Chapter 3304, 121 of the Administrative Code. Okay, so you got to follow the laws and the rules. Comply with the terms in the signed BGA, the signed permit, or the signed contract for the facility they are assigned. Okay. Comply with the terms in the signed BOA. Probably should be or TBOA.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we should.
Or
Go
away.
Yeah.
Good check.
Operate the assigned facility in a professional manner.
Mm-hmm.
That one's always been different. Comply with federal, state, and local laws. Maintain a high standard of personal hygiene while working, and operators and their employees must at all times wear appropriate attire in a professional manner while present in the facility and comply with all applicable health and safety regulations. It's wordy, but it's
Not big words.
there's not a big problem with it. It just kind of provide BE with a current home address and telephone number, a current business address and telephone number, and a social security number or federal employer identification number.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yes.
In my notes, I put D, current information for refund notification purposes, preferred, whether that, maybe it's just as easy as that. Current information for preferred refund notification purposes. You know, that could be an email, that could be a phone number, depending on it. But I think that people need to provide that information.
There's a
Madam
go here?
Chair,
Yeah.
would that be part of what you did to BE, or should we have another number here that just says you're supposed to put, post that in your facility?
I think it should be a number.
Okay.
But I think for BE, I think, and I haven't been reading through this. Some point we talked about people having for BE an emergency contact. Okay, an
That's later
operator.
on.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
I'm thinking we should have a separate number.
Yeah.
To provide current information for refund notification.
Yeah, posted
At the facility.
at the facility.
Yeah. Your preferred
Because
contact.
you don't want to just say on all machines.
Right,
because some
right.
people
Just say
have-
preferred
Right.
contact information at location or something.
Yeah. If this information changes at any time, the operator is responsible for providing all updated information to BE in a timely manner. Maintain a drug-free workplace. Operators and their employees shall not be under the influence of, consume, possess, or distribute illegal substances, illegal drugs, or alcohol at a BE facility. If an alcohol license is required by a BEA, alcohol possession and distribution is permitted.
I don't get to say that.
I know.
I know. Maintain active engagement in their assigned facility. In lieu of active engagement, an operator may designate an essential employee to fulfill this function. If such a designation is made, the operator shall notify the BE program of the designated essential employee. During the operator's absence from the facility, all responsibilities remain with the operator.
Okay, I don't, do we have anything in here, so we talk about who to contact?
I think that's,
Should we add that in as well? They have to, if they're gonna have an essential employee, you have to have, I know we're contacting the operator, but if the operator is somewhere else and this just goes
Yeah.
into people in another state,
yeah, I would say
we
that.
need to put the essential employee's contact information
Yeah,
as
the
well.
operator shall notify the BE program of the designated essential employee and their contact information.
Yes,
Madam Chair,
yes.
I crossed out the first sentence, maintain active engagement in their assigned facility in lieu of active engagement. What is active engagement? And
Back here in
I
the
have no idea.
I
definition.
tried to find it. Where
I
does it
thought
say
we
that?
put it in here. I thought it was.
And why would we word it that way? Active.
Active engagement.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
B
Okay.
means an operator is the manager of the assigned business operation, and the operator or designee is physically present at a vending facility at least once every 30 days.
Why don't we have
my gosh.
responsible? The word responsible in there at the beginning. A operator is responsible. You know what I mean?
An operator is the manager of the assigned.
Because whoever the person, I don't care where they are responsible for the blah blah blah. That's what active engagement, responsible, carrying out responsibility.
Yeah, I think we wanted.
That sounds watered down to me.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure somebody was there all the time.
Right, but we also need to make the operator who is their essential employee is not who's in the BG and
They are not.
BGA.
You're correct.
So we need to make sure we clarify the person who's responsible for that location. You know, I think that we watering it down. I think the word the manager that the operator who's responsible for blah blah blah, which means they can't say like some people put that other person on the yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
can I ask Annette to go back a little bit? What she read?
Which part?
The part that I think I heard about being self-employed and we don't work for the state.
Oh, that's
Where do you read that?
Okay. All licensed operators in the BE program are self-employed entrepreneurs who are not employees of the state of Ohio. In addition, or consistent with any terms contained in the BGA for an operator's assigned facility, all operators who choose to participate in the BE program shall. And then it goes on to all these lists of stuff.
I just want to ask this question. Is that the spot where we should definitely put in there that we are independent businesses? What do you?
It says it, self-employed entrepreneurs.
Well, and that I think that's that we are independent businesses by the IRS standards. We are independent businesses.
Right. You know, I just letting you know that the program did not just totally ignored that we're independent businesses in a grievance, and I think it should be in the rule.
But that does not negate the fact that you guys are still part of a state program, and I think that this goes back to the 35% in the grievance. That's where he's coming from. That then he shouldn't be subject to any type of operator should not be subject to any type of oversight. Which
that's not true, and I don't feel that we should be because we are under an agency. And so we do deserve, but we are independent businesses, so that should be clear. But we are under the program subject to oversight, and I don't have a problem with that. When I got into this program, I recognized that I was getting into a contract with a state agency And, under a program that helps blind people seek employment.
And my opinion, I'm not the lawyers, but my opinion is whether you say self-employed, independent business owners, that doesn't take away from that, which is what I think you're agreeing with,
Yeah,
Yvette.
it
But
does.
It says self-employed entrepreneurs. I
Yeah.
think that
Kind of the same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
covers it.
I think
There's a symbiotic relationship. That is
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
One does not work without the other.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
so back to this, a designee, blah, blah, blah. So, there's occasionally like the BEP directors, there was one this week about how a BE operator was going to get a guide dog and they were going to be away from their BE facility, and how do other states deal with that? And it was very interesting. I get some stuff out of that. But, like one state, I think it's Pennsylvania, yeah. A vendor remains responsible for continuous operation of their stands and must make arrangements for coverage. And then it goes on whenever they plan to be away. And then it says for vacation, illness, upward mobility. Again, I'm just giving you tidbits of what other states have in their rules on this thing, where ultimately it is the responsibility of the operator.
That's why that word should be up there where you say an active engagement is responsible.
They were asking about travel requests, and I think of any other language. I kind of like that language that I read, that they're responsible when they're absent, but that if they do designate an essential employee, what you're saying is that they need to inform.
It's real.
The BE with that essential employees information.
Yeah, they
contact information.
It says inform about but they also need the employee information. If I left for a month to do something and I put someone else in charge, Jeff should know how to get a hold of
We used to have that. We used to do that. If I'll just say even now, I didn't realize that everybody else wasn't doing it. If I go out of town, I will send my consultant the phone number of my son or whoever and say, but contact me first. You know what I mean?
Same thing.
To me, I thought it was automatic. Just makes sense. Because if there's a flood or something's happening at the facility, I want to know, but I also want, if my phone is off or I'm in an area you can't reach me, you should be able to reach the person I put in charge of my facility.
How can we say that?
Well, I think it just says the operator shall notify the VE program of the designated essential employee and their contact information.
Yeah. And then now this is where we get into it. If someone is in the hospital, and I'm just throwing it out there, and it's an emergency, how do we handle that? Because we can't say you're responsible.
Don't we have an emergency?
We should have had
somewhere.
But then that
I get emergency
but
contacts.
that's the
with
only
all your
problem. Even if you have an emergency number, we can't make that person responsible. How do we help an operator if an emergency happens, they have a heart attack?
Put on the radio.
Go ahead, who's speaking?
Sorry.
Oh, how do we help a person that can't be responsible for their location because of medical emergency? Do we put in here an exception for medical emergencies?
I think at that point, don't you just kind of pull all the operators and see who can help out?
Yeah, that's what we've always done.
But
But it's not
the
in the
local
rule.
could do that, but should we put that in a for
not in the
medical
rule.
emergencies? The local will, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Madam Chair, I think this rule is more like long term, not like someone's in the hospital for a couple days or something. And again, I don't know how detailed we get and how much of an issue this is. I think it's for more of a long-term thing.
John D.
We had the
Yeah.
bird thing and
John D.
John D. and
Yeah.
stuff where people just can't do it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but that's why I think it should be in a rule, or because that's like a procedure. This is the policy. This is what we'll do. Where instead of trying to figure it out, we'll have it. I mean, I just think that since we don't have a policy and procedure handbook, the rules is what we have.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
420 does kind of address it a little bit.
Does it?
It says licensee should create and maintain contact information of the individuals entrusted with operating a facility or site in case of an operator's absence. This information shall be on file with BSBI.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how many people have done that.
I know I gave them my,
I did.
yeah,
but
I
I'm
know
just
the
saying how many.
information. So,
But we need it to where that's someone that can take over their facility in case of a medical emergency. I mean, I have that, but I don't know how many other people.
I know we needed a big issue a couple years ago, and
Uh-huh.
we did have, and I think it should be an annual thing, part of
Updating.
maybe the appraisal or one of those things where we make sure that that's on file.
I agree.
And so then that could be part of that. So
Okay.
I don't know if that necessarily needs to go, well, whatever we do.
Facility inspection.
Yeah, the facility inspection we could do, that's part of that, and that, because I remember also, we had issues with people like refusing to give us that
Wait a minute,
information.
let me ask you. You said that you're putting it part of a facility inspection?
Just,
Because we're not posting that. This is
no,
letting you all know who's
right,
that designated person.
Just at that
It's just,
time.
yeah,
Just at
something
that
we can check
time.
on.
Review it.
Oh, around that time.
Right.
Okay.
Like a
Right.
checklist.
Each year to make sure it's still current.
right.
Okay.
It wouldn't have to go on the
I don't
inspection
have a
form.
problem. Yeah. I
It
don't
would
have a
just
problem.
be like the consultant
update it.
saying, yes, they have this on file, it's updated.
Are you all hearing, you all have any problems with what we're talking about?
I don't.
And I also like that if one of our operators was hurt or
Right.
came ill in their facility,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
there's a chance that someone in that building would contact the bureau.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Because they might not know of
Right.
who else
Who
to
to call.
contact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Madam Chair, like all of us, we have state IDs and
Yeah.
we have a card on our back that in case of emergency, this is who you're supposed to call.
Yeah.
I say Sally Nunes for everything.
Yeah.
So don't tell me.
We need to get with Kim.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop there.
Yay.
He said we got 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's done.
Okay. Where did we stop at, guys?
That was number 9.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. You're adjourned.
Okay, so Madam
y'all.
Chair, so I'm going to get you the list for the agenda that I have created. I'll send that.
Okay.
And then if you send that stuff back to me this weekend, we'll get that out on Monday.
Okay.
I know you guys have a separate call right now on statewide. I'm
Yes.
exiting. I've got some other stuff to do.
We're gonna keep this phone for the statewide.
I just need a break.
Free to do
Yeah.
I can't do another hour or two.
Hey, send an essential employee. Where's Joyce?
She's down bending in Marietta.
Why don't we do that? Okay.
Yeah.
And we can get started here. We'll get started a little bit late, but yeah.
Okay, we'll take a 15-minute break, guys.
All right, that works.
Wait. Is anyone still there?
I don't know my way.
Yeah, we're gonna do the statewide work group, so we're done with this one. So
And that-
if you want to go, you can, or you can hang out for the statewide.
Got it. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I would like to go. This is Christopher. Hello.
Yep, go ahead.
This is Christopher. I have other commitments, but I do have a question for Yvette.
Okay.
If,
Right back.
Yeah.
Wait, can you answer Chris's question real
Yeah,
quick?
yes, Chris?
well,
Yes,
we
Chris.
can talk about this after, but the only reason I would bring it up is because as a statewide work group, do we have an agenda and do we have the actual special meeting? I need to coordinate transportation.
You have an agenda.
Thursday, he wanted to know for his ride, are we meeting OVRC Thursday? I think we talked about that.
We did talk about it, but we
Yeah, I
haven't
think we said we wanted to have an OVRC meeting on Thursday.
statewide.
Statewide.
Well, we talked about working on maybe rules or something.
Yeah.
Oh, Thursday night,
You guys
April
need to talk
30th.
about that.
That should be on the agenda. 'Cause
Okay, let's
you
put
guys
that
say no.
statewide on the agenda.
I already voted no.
Oh.
But since everyone was coming, people were there, we could knock some stuff out.
We were gonna have,
But-
up on Thursday.
We can put that on the agenda for next week.
Okay, that'll be on the agenda.
Okay, my only question is, I just need to know really as soon as possible because I got drivers running 3 hours and the guy's coming down from Dayton to pick me up here in Cincinnati, so he needs as much advance notice as possible, so.
Chris, I'll be honest, if
Mhm.
we do that, I don't even know if we have enough in your contract for that. So that might be the AI stuff, but we'll figure that out next Friday. It doesn't look like that might go anywhere anyway, so it might be a non-issue.
May not actually, but if it does, I just need it. Because the alternative would essentially mean that I would have to go up on Saturday morning like I'd done in Columbus and do just do the minutes while I was up there and not stay up at the hotel.
I
for
thought
just
you were
3
going to
hours.
come Friday and we were going to pay for your hotel Friday, or no?
Well, that was still up in the air actually. I thought that was still to be decided. So.
Okay, we'll figure that out. We'll have conversations.
Yeah,
to figure it out.
that was still hasn't been resolved yet. So.
Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
All right, we're taking 15.
They're going on break.
Right.
Speech on. Speech off.
I'm just 15-minute break before we go to the next one.